Hello, everybody, and welcome. Sorry, we had a bit of an audio issue.
Yeah.
Hope you guys can hear us okay. Great to see you all. Fantastic. Evie, what a great way to start this off, especially for what we're going to talk about tonight. Can you guys hear us okay? I hope you can. It seems to be going through fine. We're getting a little muffled in our headphones. Yes, we can. Thank you so very much. Great to see all you guys in here. We're getting ready, guys, with our new setup. We worked to the wee hours of the morning all day today. Did it go seamlessly? No. Is it finished? No. As you can see, we're a little on the pale side.
And I have a halo.
Yeah, you have a halo.
But the good part about it, we're still together.
True. True. I did pretty good last night. I got to give myself props on that. Sorry.
Yes. Props on that for you. Andrew did good. I did good. And we're still together. And this is, 95% done. Our setup here, we're lit like Christmas tree. Nevertheless, you can see now more of our wrinkles and tiredness, hopefully.
Oh, my God. The
Hello.
lighting. We need
How
more
are
lighting.
you?
We need more lighting. We need more lighting. I knew where this was all going to go when it was put up. I knew months ago. That's why I didn't want to put up new lighting. So I put up new lighting, and here we are today talking about wrinkles. That's right.
Of course.
Yeah. So
What else?
the wife is always happy. You know that expression. Never complains about anything.
What else? Well, what else? We can talk about YouTube. We can also talk about YouTube and all the changes that are going on, and of course our frustrations there. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Is about solutions. We have one. Maybe you have some. Maybe you agree with our solution. Maybe not. Let's talk about it. Before that, as always, we'll go into a little bit of housekeeping and say hi to you amazing people here in the chat.
It's great to see all you folks in here. There's Farmo. Boom! To the studio under construction. I love it. I love it. Great to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. BLT Gamers, where's your pet squirrel? Not going to happen, my friend. Great to see you, though. Hand-paid jackpots, how are you? Welcome. Nomad Unbroken, Barrel Boy of Woods, Jenny O'Brien is here, folks. Duke Family Chronicles, Sin City Soap and Candles is here. Eileen Villiers the Fam, Just Treasure is here, folks. That's right. Sean and Casey on vacay mode. Tasha 101, CSX NS Train. We have Mountain View Turning. Great to see all you folks in here. So many guys. I can't. Please do not ask for, with the numbers, massive coin. Sorry, but we only do, as we always do for everybody across the board, unless they're 20 or less away from the rounded 1,000. To help them out. Wendell live. I couldn't hear you. Oh, my volume is turned down. How are you, Wendell? Fantastic to see you. Joel, is in the house. How are you? Great to see you. Pulled My Pork BBQ. How are you? Great to see you. Great to see you. Philip Cockram is in the house. How are you, guys? Phil's one of those channels that got us off the ground, guys, when there's 4 to 6 people in here. You do not have Philip Cockram? Grab him up. He's a great channel, guys. Fantastic channel. He does like, I don't know, the topic of interest stories on news, like those 10-minute segments and stuff like that. Really, really interesting.
He also loves playing guitar.
He does. He's a fantastic guitar player.
He loves playing with his guitar.
Irvin the Paid Taurus in the house. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. So many great channels here, guys. We really, really, really have a big topic tonight. Yes, it is controversial. Yes, I've talked about it in the past. Yes, I'm leaning harder onto it now, but I really want to hear your thoughts on it tonight, guys. We'll get into it in a few minutes, give everybody a chance to come in, say hellos, but I definitely want to hear your views onto it. Everything that's been going on YouTube, I think it's long overdue to discuss this. It's something that was in the past semi-necessary. Now I believe it's become more necessary than ever. Jerry Awesome Sunset Travels, how are you? Awesome to see you. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Great to see you. Great to see you. Philip Oldenburg, what's going on? Great to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. You two look fantastic. You're too kind. Thank you so much.
Too kind for that.
We're getting there. We did a lot of work last night. We actually did more to the stand. Everything is pretty much standing on one stand now, which I'm kind of proud of that. That was what I didn't think we could pull off.
I'm a little bit freaked out.
I'm a little bit freaked out.
Well, maybe we'll do a selfie. Hashtag. I am so muffled in my ears that I barely can hear myself.
Talk.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a hashtag Blue and Troop selfie as well and show you what are we talking about here. Our pretty freaky setup of lights and camera and everything else.
There we go.
That's right.
This is going to be used eventually, but for now, let's just try this and see if it works. There you go, guys. So there's a little bit of the setup. There's the lights up there. One stand comes down. There's the camera. Hi, guys. How are you? There you go. And my monitor's on here now. All connected to the same arm. That was on a separate one. Mixer down below. There you go. Xenia's laptop. Her microphone boom arm. Say hi, Xenia.
Hi.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So we're getting there. It's coming along. This was jerry rigged with started off with it's an arm for 4 monitors, and took off some of the arms onto it and everything else, and started modifying and modifying. This was an arm from another set we put onto it as well. Took off cut at the elbow, for lack of a better term. Took out the bolts and then ran the camera through it. That was on a tripod arm, but yeah, for now. But still, we have the newer adjustable, so that's good. So I've got level head and everything else. So yeah, there you go, guys. Just a little bit. The wiring's horrible, I know. We're not setting anything until I know it's going to stay there, and then we'll deal with that part when it comes. So yes, wiring will be cleaned up later on, and there'll be more to mount onto it as well. I got a couple of other ideas.
As soon as we are done with setting this up, we're going to add our equipment in our links of equipment of
Yes.
Amazon affiliates down below. You can see right now our camera that Andrew was using just now, headphones, and our microphones that everybody loves so much are listed down below in our Amazon affiliate links. If you do purchase anything through that, or even if you just use a link, would appreciate a couple cents goes towards support of this channel.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all the kind words. Glad you liked it. And Just B&E says, love the artwork in the background. This was made by La Lydia and sent it to us from California a couple of months ago. We just didn't have a chance to set it up. And she made that for us. She put a ton of hours into it. It's a mixed media project, all based on Pusa Studios. Isn't that absolutely amazing?
That's right.
La Lydia's live in the house. Were your ears burning? Were your ears burning?
Yeah, no, we're going to change the batteries and the lights. There are some lights too. We're still in the process of setting everything up, so not quite there yet.
Getting there though. It takes time, guys. It takes time, but it's well worth it. And it's been a long overdue, and we waited till we did the room changeover to start all of it. So great to see. Yep, she says her ears were burning. Well, that is absolutely awesome. So fantasy, and thank you once again for it. Sorry it took so long, but we really wanted to give it the love it should have. Love the new background. Thank you so much, Karen Sommers. Great to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Murad's Haunted Adventures is in the house. Great to see you. Blaze Radio. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, your boy Blaze McCoy. Always glad to be here to learn something new. Well, tonight, guys, is going to be a debate. I brought it up in the past, lightly here and there during live streams. It's a touchy subject, I know. But I'm curious to see. I wanted to make a full episode onto it and discuss it with you guys straight out. And I'm really interested to hear you guys' thoughts onto it, your opinions, what you guys think should be done with YouTube, because it is getting absolutely crazy. So we're going to talk about it in just a few minutes. We'll give it time to get in. If you can hit the like button, tweet out, tell friends, all that good stuff. It would really help out a lot, guys. The more people in here, the better the conversation. And this falls into everything, guys, from COPPA and beyond. So this is many, many conversations leading up to this. That's the sad part of it. There's so many conversations along the way, and I thought it was a breaking point where it came to this. Well, here we are again. And it's not just from an article I read that we'll talk about in a few minutes, but also from other YouTubers I've been watching lately from the Lego community and stuff like that. I've been doing a lot of searches on COPPA to see what the bigger ones are doing that are directly involved by it, like directly in the crossfire. Wendell Live says, it's the couch for guests. Oh, never thought of that. We used to sit on that couch last season. That was our chairs for a long, long time. Yeah, finally graduated to actual chairs.
That's actually a doghouse. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's my doghouse, and I'm proud of it. I love it.
Oh my God, that was such a pride that you said that.
I love it. I love being.
Wow.
You can't hide it. It drives her crazy if I'm on the couch. So I'm covered 7 ways from Sunday. That's a punishment to her, not to me.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, don't.
I'm not even arguing that. I agree.
There's nothing to argue. Oh, you're. Stop the music. Stop the music, folks. That's right. Let's time it here, folks. Let's call it in. 7:11 Eastern Time Zone, the 18th of November, 2019. You heard the wife say, I agree. I'm not fighting it. I agree. And Four Walls Music is saying fight, fight, fight.
Well, you know what? I think lately I have been having the honesty pill all throughout the live streams.
I know.
Yeah.
I never want these live streams to end. I just want to live on live streams now. That's where my life is going to be, on live streams. No.
Pam Duthie's in the house. Hello.
Hey! There's my long lost family. How are you? Great to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Always a pleasure to see you, Pam. It's been forever. How you doing, cousin? Hope all is well. We got talking, and when I was in Scotland tracing my mother's ancestry, I ran across Pam Duthie, and most likely distant cousins of some shape or form. Isn't that awesome? It makes YouTube such a smaller place. Isn't that amazing? That's not what I heard. I heard you're going to get it when the camera's off. Yeah. Well, and then if I get put on the couch, so be it.
Yeah.
I got lots to watch.
Parker Car Breaks, hello and welcome here in our chat. Hello to everybody new. Josie, hello. How have you been doing? Lots of amazing people here. Huntress of Unknown as well. Free to laugh now. Andrew, your wife is radiant tonight. Oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. I was so freaked out of the lights today. All the wrinkles. I said I look like a ghost, but let's just roll with it. So thank you so much for encouraging me, though.
Don't worry, guys. Like I said, we're in the middle of transition, a lot of changes in that, but that is going to be fixed and just going to get better and better.
I just like whining. That's also.
I'm going to have an honesty overload soon.
I know, right?
I sense peanut butter sandwiches for dinner and a place on the sofa, Andrew. Well, that is my Shangri-La. So let's cross our fingers and hope that happens. There you go. I also want to say, guys, we had a channel on last night, first time here, and there you go. That's definitely not it, as usual. There you go. Fun Size Productions, folks. Fun Size Productions were with us, and I want to show their other page. Everything is off to a good start. Really, really good start. There we go. All right, guys. So they're 5 away from 1K. We got them to 1,000. They went down to 980. That always happens. Then I checked them a while ago. They're 992. Now they're in here, folks. They're 5 away from 1K. So make sure to grab them up, guys. A fantastic channel. There you go. I'm putting their link in the chat right there. Grab them up, folks. Show them the old Pusa welcome. Let's get them back over 1K, guys.
And Arvind the paid tourist is here, and he says, you don't need all that, because then he always looks awesome. Andrew, you need every bit of it.
and then some.
Or just keep camera just on Xenia.
Oh, I figured that would be an option, too. I figured that would definitely be asked for. There you go, 1K. Congratulations for the second time around. That happens.
And awkwardly, Kim just got to their 1K as well, so congratulations as well.
Hey,
that is awesome.
Fantastic stuff. Congratulations all around. Grant McIntosh is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Hope you and Janet are doing fantastic. Great to see you. Now let's see if our other window's messed up. Yep, there it is. I'm going to fix it right now, right in front of your very eyes. I could have hid this and done it all through the stream, but you know what? The cat's out of the bag. Things don't always go as planned. There you go. There, we're set. You guys are absolutely fantastic, and that's a great channel, by the way, guys. We just met Fun Size Production not long ago. I'm going to be calling these Full Size. You know that. Anybody's been in here for a while, they're going to test. I have a memory made out of brick for things that are wrong. So I will try my best over the next 2 months to curb myself. And probably by then you'll say, oh, this name's not working for it. Change it again. And then I'll go through the same thing over and over and over. That's usually how it goes. Born Racer, how are you?
Life After Life TV Production says, hello. I've just been accepted into YouTube partnership program. It wasn't very long ago. You were helping me get over 1K. Massive thanks to you for all your help. Thank you so much. I also want to say to Jasmine Entertaining, congratulations of getting monetized. That's very well deserved. Congratulations. Lots of amazing, great news to start this live stream.
And that's good things, guys. Yeah. There's lots of good things happening on here. And even what we're going to talk about tonight might turn into a heavy rant by times. I'm warning you right now. But that said, it's because there's good things that can happen on here. Because there's good people on here. Please remember that tonight. That's all I ask. It's about all the good things that people are in. All the work that people are putting into stuff in here. And that's what it's about, guys. Man, you guys are so close to 11K. Yes, we were doing good, and then as soon as it goes up, we get the exact same things. Anybody who's monetized, we're in the exact same boat as you. So if you monetize tonight, we're in the same boat. We go through the ups, the downs, the stalls, everything in between. West Coast Stage and Cuisine, what's going on? Fantastic. Hope you're doing great, my friend. Exploring with Carl, how are you? ZZ Toppling, how are you? Always great to have you in the house. La La Ladies Life, thank you so much for placing the canvas where it is. It looks great, just like I imagined. Once again, sorry it took so long, but it's the right palette, the right place to showcase it, and we are honored. We know how much work went into it. I love today's title, Maryland Music Channel says. Well, thank you very much, guys. It is something we've talked about lately, and now tonight I'm taking it head on, and I know I'll get some blowback from it. I know I will. I know even some of the arguments are going to come against me from it. And it's just my opinion, and I want to hear you guys' opinions, why or why not. It just always, guys, keep it respectful in here, okay? Whether it's to us, whether it's to everybody in the chat, everybody's allowed to have their opinion. Please, that's what I want. I want people discussing things properly. Just do it the right way, guys. No cross. Don't go down below the line. It's not. Just talk to each other, guys. Tyler Wood, Bushcraft, is this spot taken? Of course not. That's been waiting for you, my friend. It's always there for you. Hope you're doing fantastic. Brendan the Gent, how are you? Great to see you.
PA Trapping here as well. Good to see you. 3B Video. Hello. And Brittany Dice here. Hello. Operator Login. Hello. How are you? Andrew is going to say hi to each and every one of you just in a couple of minutes, as our always routine roll call say here. And of course, a little bit of tiny information just before we jump right into the live stream subject of wow.
When they asked for your mic to be up, Thames World said...
Thank you. Yeah, because I can't hear myself whatsoever. I'm just talking. It's like being on a stage and not hearing what you're saying. David, the producer, is here. We would be happy to play. Love that.
There we go, guys. I think we're whispering a little bit too much. We got to bring up our own vocals a bit from the background.
I am so screaming already.
Well, there's why. I told you a million times. Talk in the middle of your...
A million times. Can you hear me better now?
Now she's going to talk quieter.
No, I'm talking in the same option. I don't know. Anyway, the main thing is you can hear me. We've been gaining traction on Patreon, and it's making it easier since we haven't hit our watch time yet. Yes, and it's a great idea. 3B Video, one of the options of how to monetize your channel. You definitely should look into other options. We'll talk about that as well, especially now with all the changes. It's definitely something to think about. Hey, there are no rants. They are more like guidelines. I like that. Free to Laugh Now says. They are not rants.
Like
They're
that.
more like guidelines.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I really do. Because we all talk a lot, guys, and we say things, I wish this would happen, that would happen. But let's just start getting more official about it. Let's start getting things that maybe more people will hear. Maybe we'll be able to garner some interest at some point, and somebody might start running with something instead of just complaining about it. That's all I mean by it. It doesn't mean it's going to change it, but at least we can define our opinions onto it, and you never know. If enough come together, things could change.
Exploring with Carl, we have tomorrow Tuesday Tech Talk, where you can also ask that question. We can definitely talk about that. Sean KC on vacay mode. Hello, where are we? Just in a minute, I will tell you where are we. And Philip Oldenborough is saying, not everyone is for everyone, but everyone deserves an audition. A new mantra for Philip. Thank you so much.
I love it. And that couldn't be better. I'm honored. That's exactly what it's about.
It's great to give compliments to yourself.
Yes, that's right. No, but it's nice when some people run with it and actually get what you're saying. I appreciate that. I really do. Joe Z, has anyone tried the free transfers banks offer for donation?
Nope.
Not yet.
I don't know anything about it. It might be different in Canada, probably.
Joe Z will always be as the very first person back when YouTube, when you could get like direct messages, almost like email within YouTube. Josie was the very first person, if my memory serves me right, that ever sent us a message. So your name always stands out. I always see your logo. I can picture it. So.
Guys, hello and welcome here. By the way, I wanted to say that we are in Montreal here. We're in Montreal in Canada.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. So that's the answer to the question, where are we? Andrew is going to say hi.
Yep.
Just in a moment.
And you guys, some of you, as I know, have been asking, I see again in the chat, we are working on our new set here. We are not finished yet. We are not finished by a long shot. But there you go, guys. So there's a little look of it once again. It's our jerry-rigged, inspired by one of the bigger YouTube. Well, not big. Well, yeah, he's big enough. Don't get me wrong. But I thought he had a fantastic idea. We wanted something that was self-contained, so we took our own take on what he did. But the inspiration was to take a monitor stand and turn it into a stand for all your stuff for your live stream studio. So we bought a stand that holds 4 monitors. It was 4 monitors up to 27 inches. So there's one arm of it with 2, and that holds Xenia's mic. There you can see the boom arm. We bought another set for it, but just used the arm off it. We took it off at the elbow and put up the camera onto it. There you go. And then my monitor is now hooked onto it, which luckily the pipe fit for both of them, which usually doesn't happen. And down to the monitor as well. Yes, the wiring is horrible, but we'll be fixing that. And all the way up to the lights that are running on through, we took the Versa plates off them. We bought some of these really cool magic angle arms. And when you loosen the arm onto it in the center, it doesn't just loosen it there, but it loosens it in every joint, which is really cool. We bought these lights. We're still trying to get the remote to program them. That's been a bit of a hassle. They're not cheap. They're panels 1x2, and they actually fold up and roll away. So if we ever need them, like for a secondary for photo shoots and that, and this keeps us from, that's why we never used our photo lighting, because we don't want to have lamps and cables running all over the place. This cleans it all up into one clean section. So it's getting there. A lot more still to work onto, and the table is actually an IKEA accent table. Before Xenia corrects me into it, I said it right, because we didn't want a desk in here, but we also didn't want a coffee table. So this was at the right height. So that's why we're using that. So it gives more like we're sitting at a table and not sitting at a desk, because our arms would be up higher. So there you go. So there you go. That's where we are at right now. We're still working onto it. We'll get it figured out in the next couple of days. Lots more modifications to come, most likely, but
yeah, 3B Productions said about moving everything every time before the live stream. We started like that. Oh my God, it was so annoying. But we did it for a good while, and you know, we have been in live streaming for almost 2 years. Not for a year and a half now. And yeah,
that's right, hard. West Coast, you got it.
It's hard when you have to move all the time, especially if you're live every day. So definitely.
Fucking mess collections, Canadians and their IKEA.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Where's craft services? Oh, that's our son. Unfortunately, our son doesn't. Oh, you don't know that craft services is a food service when you're on movie sets or TV.
Okay.
Because I figured you were going to say like the craft dinner or something was coming, so that's why I wanted to catch that one for you.
Okay.
Yep.
Cookies.
That's right.
Maybe cookies are coming. Might be. I don't know.
Yes, we'll cross our fingers for cookies. We're hoping he's going to do cookies for us.
When you live stream as much as you do, that is crazy. You need an own room for it.
Yes.
Yeah, it is exactly, because we are live 6 times a week, sometimes even 7. It is hard when you have to move everything, and it's much better when you can just come and sit down and everything is right there.
But this way as well, we have our own room and it's still functional if we need it for other stuff. You know, that's the nice thing about it all being self-contained, instead of having window light boxes everywhere, cables strung across and that. So you never know, we might still have to bring someone in the end, but so far I think we got more than enough light.
Sean on Casey on Vacuum Mode is getting to the point of the live stream and saying, what do you think you're going to get out of paying to be on YouTube? We'll talk about it just in a couple of moments. And also any Black Friday deals on camera and studio equipment. Amazon has some updates on some new cameras, as well as Best Buy, but we probably not the best people to ask that question.
No, we're not gurus on that, especially on that kind of stuff. Yes, there's some we need to do that way better than we do. So definitely check them out. But if you're thinking of purchasing anything from Amazon, check down in our affiliate link down below, guys. Make sure to check it out in the description. It really helps out a lot. And with that said, Rockstar, welcome.
Yes, let's
it's
do
way overdue. Way overdue. Then we're going to get to our topic at hand, guys, in just a minute. You guys have waited long enough. We need more echo for that. We're doing a Rockstar welcome. That's better. We got Willow Whimsy in the house. How you doing? We got Wilder Scotland folks is here, as well as West Coast Cajun Cuisine is here. Wendell Live is in the house. Great to see you. Great to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. We have us jumping like turtles in here, guys. We have Tyler Wood Bushcraft in the house, folks. We have the Truth is Here Explorers. We have the Creator. The Art of Handmade Dolls and stuff is here, folks. The Ace Deuce family is in the house. Thames World is here, folks. Tenny Bello, welcome. We have Team Bill with Geo. We have Tara Telling TV, folks. That's right, as well as Social Rec, Uber Rex. We have Sir Lance Thought, I just love your name, man. Watch Me Do Stuff is in the house as well. Great to see you. We have Shining Through NK here, folks. We got Sean and Casey on vacay mode. We got Sarah Elizabeth Hardy. Salvatore Vinciguerra is in the house, folks. That's right, as well as Ryan Vexo is here. Running Egg, guys, is in the house. We have Road Virtue. We have Rayan Entertainment here, folks. We got Proof Pigeon in the house. We got Parker Card Breaks, folks. We got Pam M in the house. We have Operator Logan in the house. We have Old Guy on a Bike, folks. We got Moto G Spot in the house. We have Marlin Music Channel. We have Living the Good Life RVing in the house, folks. We got Leonard Shea. Lydia's Life is here, folks. That's right. And we have Kiwi Cobbler Magnet Fishing. We have Kayla Madeline in the house, folks. We got Cardoso Media here, as well as Jenny O'Brien in the house, folks. We got Jelly Duck 100. We have Jello Productions, folks. We got Jeff's Custom RC. We have Jasmine's Entertain, and we have Jackson RC Aviation. We have Inspired Art by Mary. We have Howling Fun RV Adventures. We have Hand-Paid Jackpots, folks. We got Gothic Rose. We got Ginger Nightmare. We have Ghost Pirate. We have Falcon Mess Collections. We have Free to Laugh Now. We have Elizabeth Pierre. We have Eileen Villa the Femme. Desert Pours is in the house, folks. Daily Life and Nature. CW Gaming, folks, as well as Crazy Canson. Welcome. We have Corbin Comedy, Connection Comedy in the house, folks. Computer Chick is here, folks. We got Chef Ed Moore in the house. We got Karen Sommers in the house. We got Brandon the Gent in the house. We got Blaze Radio. Better Days is here. That's right, folks, as well as Awkwardly Kim. A Simple Life in North Wales is here. 3B production, 3B video as well, excuse me, going back to the old day. Great to see you all. Fantastic to have you all. We missed your name, guys. They're not on the list. Don't be shy. Highlight our name and say hi so we give you a rock star welcome as well. Great to see all you folks in here. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you. Outdoors Gallo, how you doing? Great to see you. Great to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic. M Living Art is in the house. I'm lurking. Hope you're doing well. Doing fantastic, and hope you are as well. A Space for 3, greetings to you. Hope you're doing fantastic. It's an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to have you all here, folks. Putting Work Steve is in the house. Hope you're doing fantastic. Cardoso Media. I have the Sony A6400. It's a fantastic camera, my friend. Fantastic camera. I'm more than happy with it. I hope you are as well. The Cobra Roll, how you doing? Hope all is well. Once again, guys, we missed anybody, just highlight our name and say hi so we can give you a big hello as well.
That's right. Texas Made Food, hello. How are you? Takuna Latona TV, hello. And Wilder Scotland is here as well. What's going on? Footwork Steve is asking. We're going to be talking about YouTube, its problems, and maybe some solutions that we can come up as well. West Coast Cajun Cuisine. By the way, the new look is fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. This our dream. Thank you. And guys, it all is possible thanks to you. So thank you for allowing us upgrade our live streams here so maybe you can enjoy them a little bit more. Thank you.
That's right. These are connected, hun, so if you're going to move one, just put your hand there.
Okay.
Thank you. Alrighty, guys. I think it's about time to get into our talk. Is there any last things you have for our great people in here?
Well, I just wanted to plug in our merchandise just for a second, and after that, we're going to dive right into it. We have our hashtag Balloon and Troop merchandise with stickers, t-shirts, baby clothes, everything for women and men and everybody else, as well as some cups, socks, and leggings. Always hashtag Balloon and Droop, and some very custom t-shirts as well with Don't Move a Muscle t-shirts and cups, all available at hashtag Balloon and Droop. Check it out in our merchandise shelf down below, as well as our descriptions and in the chat. Thank you.
You guys are absolutely awesome, folks. Still seeing all the kind words in here and everything. Andrew, I must say the beard is quite fetching. Nice change out. Thank you. I got to trim it up a little bit. It's starting to get... I'm trying to grow one. I get frustrated with them and then I shave them off. That's usually how it goes. So, but I'm trying to stay for the long haul on this one. But thank you very, very much. Hope you're doing fantastic, Destination Chronicles. Great to see all you guys in here, folks. And you know what? There's no time like the present. So we're going to jump into it, guys. tonight's topic, like I say, I know we've touched on it in the past. I know some people get very involved into it, and I understand why. Just make sure, guys, we keep it to us and as well during the chat. Just keep it respectful. That's all I ask. Yeah, that's all I ask, guys. And this is not an attack on anybody or anything like that. It's more of talking about what's going on with YouTube and where things gotta go, and if we want any kind of representation on here. I'm gonna bring down this echo now. There we go. That's better. That's a lot better. Alrighty, guys. I was reading an article from The Verge. Not really. I know I shouldn't say this while I'm quoting them. I'm not a big fan of them, but they seem to be lately coming up more than ever. YouTube says it has no obligation to host anyone's video. Now, this is no surprise to anybody. This is well known. This is well documented. By the way, I just want to quote the author of it as well, Julia Alexander, as well, for this article. And like I say, this is no shock. This is no surprise. Nobody's going to faint over the news of this, that YouTube has said that. This is something that really has been known for a long time, but unfortunately, a lot of people do not realize this with YouTube. And this is why this conversation came up last year, and this is after Apocalypse, but many more things happened since. Now, I know I've seen some people stating their feelings about it already before that we even started. I was kind of looking at the chat here and there. And I know YouTube is the place of dreams for some people, for a lot of people. And a lot of people that even say, I'm just on here, I don't care, I'm just posting. I think it's a lot more seeded into people than they sometimes want to admit. It's almost became like a bit of a faux pas to say, I'm here because I want to grow or I want to make money or whatever their true intentions are doing here. Not that all are doing, but a lot. Okay? And it's one of these things where it just feels like there's been nothing but obstacles thrown in our way on here. And I do get angry. I really, really get angry as I've watched the overlap from social media clamor its way into YouTube. And it's rampant now. Rampant. And that is probably the most toxic thing that ever happened to this platform when it's said and done, in my opinion. Because it had no place in here. That's why I'm happy to push Twitter, to push out videos and stuff like that. That's why I'm happy to push Discord to talk about what's going on and all that. Because I don't believe that social media had any place here from the get-go. And that falls on YouTube's. That falls on YouTube's faith for the simple reason is they've let it come to this. So many things have been let through the goalie and turned this platform into what we're looking at today. I believe there's a lot of great things happening on here. I believe there's a lot of great creators on here. I believe there's a lot of people who want to do amazing things on here. And I believe they're constantly bombarded by all the junk that's just swam into here. And I put blames, a lot of it, on the 1K, 4K. Now, I'm not knocking anybody who's done it. Everybody's right to him on time. I have a big problem with the way YouTube set it up. Because they were supposed to be addressing a real problem at the time, and in my opinion, they turned it into a free-for-all that we're all going to be paying for a long time on here. It not only brought in a lot of channels that didn't want to do anything on here and just cloud up the airwaves, it also turned a lot of channels that came in here wanting to do good things into that as well. Okay? This was my initial desire to make the statement, I believe we should have the right to pay to be on here. Now, there's two schools of thoughts to that. One was that we pay just to be on here, or rather register with a credit card and have levels of it, or you pay and you get boosted, and the ones that don't just kind of go through the mix. Now, with that said, I know somebody's going to say, well, there's already something for that. There's AdSense for that. Yes, there is. But I'm not really talking in the point of in AdSense. I'm talking about the point of becoming like a freelancer for YouTube. I'm not going the way of what was discussed, what is being discussed still in Germany and stuff like that, and becoming union members and all this stuff. I'm talking about a realistic approach to the whole thing, of whereby we would become freelancers in that, not so much in a monetization mode, you need 1,000, 4,000, but a way that we would almost have to audition for YouTube. Now, what would that be? There's all kinds of schools of thought on how that can be. I see it, for instance, maybe you got to be on here 5-6 months, and then maybe you have to choose like 20 videos from your library that they have to review. And I do mean, we would have to pay money up front, and this is the part that gets some people upset, and I understand why. Hear my reasoning for it. You do not have to agree with it in any shape or form. This is just an opinion. And I'll tell you why I would do it in a heartbeat. Since we've joined YouTube, we've had to snake our way through everything. Every time all of us go on and really are working to make something on here, you have to snake your way through a lot of stuff, where I use always that expression, that guy standing there with the grainy video, dog taking a crap behind him, mustard stain on his shirt, just yapping. Basically telling everybody, I've seen them tons and tons of times. You've seen them tons and tons of time. They're basically saying, I want to get monetized. Why? Because they have this golden nugget dream in their head. Once they're monetized, they are going to make a fortune. It's almost become like the new dream where years ago was like, to make it in basketball or to make it as a rock star, or etc. Now it's on YouTube. The problem is, those you at least understood how much work there was into it. Here, for some reason, it got diluted along the way, and so many believe it's literally once you get 1,000, 4,000, you're set. You're going to be rich. This is not taking away from channels that have been working to get to 1K, 4K, because it is a benchmark, and once you are monetized, you get more of a push. You get a rep from YouTube. They are important. I'm not taking away the importance from them. What I'm talking about is a lot of the channels been wanting to get there, but not so much for that, this myth, this thing that's been planted in their head, and some parts to YouTube. I do put a lot of responsibility on them, but other channels as well, putting this in their head that that's the way it's going to be, and it's nowhere near it. What I'm talking about and wanting to pay on here is a lot more of a bigger umbrella of reasons. It's got nothing to do with just the money thing from YouTube. What it's got to do with is the idea, the principle that we don't have a voice on here, that we don't matter, that we don't count. And I'm sorry, you don't in that way. But the moment you say, oh, well, they just crap on small creators, go watch some of the videos of some of the big ones and see what they go through. They've put their whole life on the line now based on YouTube. And guess what? This statement here that you see, YouTube says there's no obligation to host anyone's video. They're right. And they're talking about not just us. They're talking about channels that are 300,000, 5 million, 10 million, 625 subscribers. You name the number, it's the same rules for everybody. So to look at a place and think, once you get up there, you're going to be protected by them and that, no, you're not. No, you're not. It's just the way it is. It's as simple as that. We are not represented on here in any way, shape, or form. Yes, once again, about what's going on in Germany, I appreciate their sentiments, but it's not realistic. YouTube is never going to make us union members and blah, 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 blah. But I do believe we could pay to be freelancers on here. And once you're freelancers, it'd be kind of like writing for a newspaper or a blog or even some news channels, etc., where there would have to be some accountability in that we have paid to be protected, for lack of a better term, to a certain extent. Almost like they would bond us after reviewing our material, seeing what we do, and them making a judgment. And I don't believe it should be $5 a month or anything. This is where I get a lot of hate. I do believe it should be something like $1,000, $2,000, something in that way. Why? Because then when you put some skin in the game, you tend to want more out of it. And by the return on that doing it is, instead of snaking around with the guy that's holding the camera and taking a crap with his dog taking a crap, you would be bypassed from that and start getting marketed to a higher range. and not have to pay your dues in that person. But you would have to pay them the fact of money, and you would also have to pay them the fact in the quality of your content, and does it pass. So maybe you'd have to put down, $1,000, $2,000, and if they don't accept you, they return, they keep $100 for you going through it, because they'd have to keep something realistically, otherwise they're just going to do it and see if it sticks. But I believe the payoffs would be a lot more. More money? Yes. But why would you have more money? Because you'd have less time trying to defend your channel. You'd have less time having to work around all the cutthroatness that came into YouTube. You'd have less time to deal with trolls because you'd be bonded and they'd be able to tell quicker when there's improper activity. You wouldn't be subjected to flagging as much. You get some protection on that. They wouldn't allow it to happen by user as much anymore because you would already be bonded. They're well aware of your content and they would review it before they go and shut you down mid-live stream or take down your video, etc. That you wouldn't get such a yellow coin all the time because they'd know where you're. Now, if you go in violation of it and start pushing the rules, then they can throw you out of it and you're back to square one, or you're not allowed to apply again for a year or whatever they would come up with. I mean, we can't expect them just to cover their eyes and say, okay, now it's a free-for-all. They wouldn't be. They'd basically be like bonding you and saying, we verified this channel, not verified for 1K, 4K, this little glimpse they take into it, but for enough money that somebody would have to sit down and actually verify what you do. And maybe that would even be the rep that's going to represent you after. And maybe with that kind of money, with $2,000, something like that, then you'd be able to have a rep that only handles 20 channels or 40 channels or 50 channels, etc. But you could get real help from them, real coverage from them, real protection from them. And then they couldn't say YouTube has no obligation to host anyone's video, because they would. They would, because you've paid, you've registered, you've gone through all the hoops and everything else that needs to go with it to show that you're worth being on YouTube, that you do bring a product that YouTube approves of. It would also help you too, because then they would have to inform you of stuff like the 40 pages of words that you can't say on YouTube. Because if you're representing them, they don't want you saying stuff that's not going to be there. So they would put in fail safes that you don't go on to topics that's going to get you limited monetization. Or if you say, I talk about YouTube enough and whatever, that you get a pass on certain stuff and they don't automatically give you the yellow button just because there's a word in your title that sets off the algorithm. They would more see your channel for what it is and therefore give you the advantage, which in turn means you would have less time dealing with that, less money lost on the ones that go up and get taken down by somebody flagging out of jealousy or the algorithm screwing up. So in the end, you would actually have a bigger return onto it. And the people who choose not to, there would be an option as well as being on here. The other option is that everybody would also have to register with a credit card to be on YouTube, whether they buy or not, making a full-fledged attempt to finally, once and for all, get rid of a lot of troll accounts, extra accounts, all that stuff, and there'd at least be a name. It'd be easier to terminate accounts, flag accounts for inappropriate material. Would it be perfect? Never. Nothing is ever going to be, and there's always going to be a workaround. But for the layman's terms, for a lot that just get mad at somebody and stuff like that, it would slow it down. It would slow it down. Because you guys see it here all the time. I last fall, kind of, I wouldn't say local famous, but local infamous maybe, for saying that and stating clear out, I don't want to hear the term community anymore. I hate it. I don't want to hear it. And people were telling me, and they were saying stuff in the chat, oh, I love this. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say community. Even when I go into there, I was glad they did that, because I wanted people to finally start thinking about what community is on YouTube. I really did. Because you know what? That term has been thrown around since last year, and it's become like gangs of New York. Okay, this click doesn't speak, this click, this click, this click. Oh, I don't like him. Oh, he didn't say something like, let's shut down his channel. Let's make it miserable for him. That stuff has happened here constantly. And you know what? When YouTube used the term community way back when, it meant we were all community. One single community of YouTubers. All of us in here, all of us not in here, all of us that are big, all of us that are small, all of us that are in the farming, and all of us that are in the mechanics, and all of us that are in the whatever insert niche you can think of. That was it. One. Only one. That also would protect us, guys, by being in something like that. Because if it came through and you start getting mass dislikes and stuff like that, they could root out that as well. Because we would be bonded by them. Because they would vouch for us that we are a worthy piece of entertainment. We've earned our dues. We've proven it to them. We've paid money to have somebody investigate us, to see what we do, to verify that, yes, this is a channel that YouTube feels committed to seeing grow on here. Instead of just lurking around in the madness, some are putting a ton of work into what they do, some are putting no work into it. Some are got the best of intentions of being on here, and some got the worst of intentions of being on here. And it's a whole mix. We can try and make it Shangri-La, we can try and pretend that it's all amazing, but in the end, there is awful, awful segregations going on, awful fights, awful breakdowns, and YouTube is at the stem of it, you know? So I do believe into it. I believe in it heavily, and I've said it. You go back in the legends, I've truly believed this seems to be the only way for us to get a voice here on YouTube, have some protection on YouTube, and be able to go ahead and spend most of our time creating on YouTube is by doing that. Like I said, I know it's not for everybody, and I want to hear you guys' opinions onto it. And it's important that you guys do, and even if it gets you thinking about what your place is on YouTube and how vulnerable we are on YouTube, then it was a complete and utter success. So, I just seen a crumbling, a breakdown, it's frustrating, guys. It is frustrating, and it's not just for me. I know tons of channels in here working their asses off on here. And I see them getting taken down for the dumbest things, whether it's somebody screwing with them or it's YouTube screwing with them. And I feel like, if they could just have a voice in there, set their claim, basically like a business. Because the money part too, another thing I truly believe into, when you have skin in the game, you're less likely to wander off and cause problems on here. Because then you have something invested into it. If I gave everybody a store tomorrow, I open a mall and give everybody in here a store. Here's your store, here's your store, all the same size. Everything's here, empty store, but the same layout. Knock yourself out, folks. Go ahead. The would-be stores fail within a month. Because sometimes when stuff is just given, it's got no value to it and is treated as such. And I hate to say it, but I've seen it happen with even great channels on here that came in with great intentions. Get caught up into that. And a lot of it's out of frustration. A lot of it's out of banging their head against a wall, feeling they're getting nowhere. Firewall Fanatic, 100% agree. Agree 100% there. I said that all backwards. Thank you so much, my friend, for the super chat, and I appreciate that. And it's true, because there is a lot of great creators, guys, and there's a lot of great voices. And there's some getting up through here. I seen Grime Finds in here a while ago. They're over 10K already. They're shooting up, and that is fantastic. I see a lot of channels that could also have that. But they're just so fed up of being bombarded on here with all the messes. They have no time almost to work on their channel, or no will to work on their channel anymore. They're exhausted from the process of just being on here. And I'm not saying woohoo. I'm not a snowflake. I'm not saying it's PC. I'm just saying it's become to the point it is diluted with disaster on here so much. And people are just taking it out on the other ones. The platform is taking it on all of us as well. We're paying for their screw up. They're the ones taking data from under 13-year-olds, not us. And now today we get advice like, if you're not sure about your video, contact your legal department. Yes, because every channel has a legal department. Every channel has a lawyer and retainer. I mean, come on. Don't they take a cut of the super chats as well? They sure do. They sure do. Blizzard FPV, 30%. And then there's taxes on top. I'm not getting screwed. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's the person giving that's getting screwed. That's the sad part. It really does. It's something that's got to be talked about, guys, and it's realizing just how vulnerable we all are on here. We're very, 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 very vulnerable. And it says it all right there, and this is nothing new. A lot of people realize, but there is people that haven't realized it yet, and that's part of bringing the attention to that as well. It's the truth in every sense of the word. Sorry. Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just breathed the wrong way, if that's possible. Wow. My apologies, guys. Sorry about that. I just think if we could do that and have the option to it, and the channels that really want to do that, I think would benefit immensely from it. Like I said, it's not just push, it's not just about money. They all lead to there though, because in the end, you can spend more time on what you do instead of battling all the problems that come with here. How many times have we been limited monetization in the last month? And yes, guys, we're not losing sleep over the couple of bucks that came from those advertisements. It's not that. The problem is we're getting less push when that happens. And it's discussing stuff like that's going on in YouTube. I mean, it's not exactly edgy content that we do here. It's not like we're covering, all the homicides or I don't even want to name the names. And I'm even nervous to say the names in case I get us limited monetization for it. But you know what I mean. All those things. We can't even talk about. Look at Philip DeFranco. There's a channel that I'm not the biggest Philip DeFranco fan. I want to get that off right off the bat. When I bring up these couple of channels, not that I'm fanboys of them. It's just a rolling example. That guy is just like demonetized on a daily basis. And everybody can say, oh, well, the hell with it. Hey, he makes a lot of money already. Does it make any sense, or does it not paint a true picture of what it's like on YouTube? When somebody like that should be one of their poster boys for the place, they should be bragging about this is what you could do on here, is getting demonetized or limited monetization every day for talking about the news. Does that really make sense when you sit and think about it? Does that sit right with you? And does it not make you think, if that's happening to him, or he's 6-7 million now, what are they doing to me? What can they do to me? A lot of channels come in here and we'll say, oh, you shouldn't do something like this on YouTube or that. And they'll say, oh, well, that big channel does that. Well, first of all, that big channel gets hit just like you do. And yes, they can probably get up faster because they do have a bit more recourse because they have a smaller team managing them as they get higher and higher as a rep through YouTube. But nonetheless, it's not guaranteed. For us as creators, a lot of times they fall through the cracks and you just don't get any help. And even though you're in the right, what good is it when you lost your channel? What good is it when your channel now will get shadow banned because of it? It's nice to be right, but if nobody's going to listen on that end, what good does it do? It's a stand. I commend your virtue onto it, but the long-term effects of it are just not worth it. And I've seen that happen here, blatantly happen on here, unfortunately. There's topics we want to talk about on here that we can't because it just puts the channel in too much jeopardy. And it's not violent or it's not anything like that. It's talking more about the platform that gets us in a lot of trouble. For days, sometimes we're recommended less for talking about it. Although we love talking about it, although Creators Insider released a video about it that afternoon, just because we continue to talk about it, all of a sudden we're the bad people of the bunch. This is what's happening. I've changed my channel over to 18 and over. My best estimate is a loss of 80 views a day. And that's the sad part of it. You shouldn't have to, there's a great example of it. This is what, if we were to do that and pay and go through, and I want to say this as a side note, I don't mean it as pay that they're going to get you to the top. There's nothing about it. It's still all on you. Maybe they'll push you more, which they should do for doing that. You should get up if you're a channel that's, say, 1,000, they'll start pushing you with channels that are 10,000 and up and stuff like that, giving you real true push because you should be better, more golden with them because they don't have to worry about you with advertising because they've already checked your channel. Okay? But I'm just so frustrated by it. I'm so frustrated today. And this is what I've been looking at while I've been working on this. And it's so tiring. And I'm watching so many channels get fed up and so many channels quitting on here and so many channels turning nasty on here and everything but creating what they do on here. And it's not hard to figure out why. That's the problem. There's too much that can be with, too much going on, but too much of just channels that just blew in here with no point, no rhythm, no rhyme or reason. Just came in for the sake of, I'm going to get 1,4K when I'm rich. I'm rich, I'm done, that's it. I'm taken care of. I'm going to have more money than I ever dreamed of. Well, what's your channel about? I don't know. Talk. Oh, cool. What do you talk about in that? I don't know. Something. It might as well flash watch time across the front of it. That's all it is. It's got no point, rhyme, reason to it. Zero. And the sad part is that's the channels that came in doing that, but it's also the channels I see doing it now that weren't like that. And all the gimmicks and everything to get people in. We've talked about it with lives. Lives can be a great thing. But I've seen channels killing themselves by doing lives, and their videos are done. Totally dead. Dead as the dodo, folks, because of it. And now they're done, a lot of them. Or they're on their way to getting done. Or they're done and they don't even know it yet, because that's what happens eventually with it. There's so many pitfalls that fall into here, and I do believe if we could come in here and set ourselves up properly, YouTube would have a standard that they expect from us. Maybe you have to do so many a week. Maybe they're going to check the quality of it. Maybe they're going to expect you to get to a certain quality to maintain that over the next 6 months. Anything like that would be good for the platform, because it would be pushing people to get better and better. It would keep their eyes on doing YouTube because they already have money into it, and less off of what everybody else is doing, and less of feeling betrayed by YouTube. And all those things that tend to take people down wouldn't become such a factor anymore. You know? Because it's lost, guys. It's lost on so many channels. I go through and I get to see people, like I have a video from last year of train video, windmills. And I was looking through the comments about a month ago, and it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The channels that I knew haven't made a video in 8 months, haven't made a video in 7 months. Channels that really did great stuff and were really looking ahead. I see I go check what they're doing now, and I mean, it's just... I mean, it's just to say the camera's on. And that's a sad thing to see, because it's really tainting the platform. People are leaving for it because it's killing the content that people came on to watch. Now, this doesn't mean you need to have a studio. This does not mean you need to be Steven Spielberg. It's got nothing to do with that. Think of a video where somebody sees a bank being robbed. 2 million people watched it. They didn't sit there and say, oh, it's a little grainy. Why is he not holding the phone straight? I bet it would have been better if he shot it off with the Canon G5. They don't care because it's a good story. It's fine. It's not all about that. But at least something engaging, at least something that shows that it was put up there for the want of people to see, that it has a chance of going somewhere. There's talent in everything, storytelling, all that stuff. But at least try, at least put in some effort. And I do believe if this happened, people will be putting in a lot of effort because of the money. And like I say, if you were to put down $2,000, I'm just taking a number right now, and I'm not saying that's the one I would stick with or whatever, but just say $2,000. You're going to go through a registration process. YouTube is going to audition you. They're going to check over what you do. Maybe they'll pick at whim what they like. Maybe they pick 10 videos to see, and then they do a more prolonged search through it though as well, a deep dive into seeing if you're doing stuff on the side that is considered harmful, all those other things. Then they okay you. You're fine. Okay, yes, your content does work within what YouTube likes to promote. You are advertiser friendly, blah, 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 blah. So now we're going to give you the high rate that goes for advertising. Why? Because they've checked you. They know what you do. It's not some scare. They feel that they can bank on you, so they can represent you properly. Mr. Skinny, you're very welcome, and thank you so very much for the super chat. Do appreciate it. Thank you so very much, my friend. That was quite generous. Thank you so much. So yeah, then you can go ahead and start working on your channel to get even better and better and better, because they would give you a higher rate because they know what you do. They'll start pushing you more, which means you start getting more traction, which means you'll start getting more return on your work. The more people are getting viewed by stuff, the happier they're going to be about what they're doing, the more work they're going to put into it, and the constant want to get better and better and better. They're going to learn more about how to maintain their channel and making it look good. They're going to learn more about shooting. They're going to learn more, all those things. I'm not saying we pay that and get pushed like somebody who's got 10 million subscribers. I'm saying we do it and they give us a bump above the others because we've paid our dues, we've been registered, they know where we stand. So now we don't have to worry about proving ourselves every time or falling culprit to the algorithm or somebody just flagging you because they got nothing better to do. or they're angry at you, whatever the case, all those things together, there's so many benefits that do weigh into it. And once again, when you put money into the game, you put skin in the game, you're more aware of how you have to represent yourself, because there's more to lose. And that keeps people on the straight and narrow a little bit more. Duke Family Chronicles, thank you so very much. Do appreciate it. The super chat, keep it up. Do appreciate it. Same to you. Same to you. Raven Wolf, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome Kay is in the house. Happy trails hiking. Life Adventure TV production, thank you so very much. Do appreciate it. Thumbs up to you as well. You guys are absolutely awesome. I do appreciate it. I see a ton of chat going on. I think I'm going to pass it over to Xenia in a second, guys. She's been doing the chat more. Maybe she can give some updates on what everybody's been talking about. So, and I do want to hear you guys' opinions, and I do want you talking about it with each other. And it is important, guys. We start thinking about where we are on this platform, what we need to stay in this platform. And if it doesn't come to the page, that's fine. It's more just respecting where we are and figuring out how to make the best of where we are. What's going to help us the most. Naomi Slut Channel, how are you? And Infantry Outdoors, how are you? Welcome. Guys, don't forget, please, to hit the like button and tweet it out. It really does help out a lot. Karen Summers, I know it's 2 a.m. for you. Thank you so much for hanging in there. Always great to have you in, Karen. Hope you have a fantastic night. So, hon, any updates from the chat you want to talk about?
Yeah, definitely. There is a conversation going on in the chat about, how it would work and different ideas. So we definitely can go through and some of the notes I took here. And guys, please feel welcome to voice your opinion in the chat, in a respectful way, of course, but please do. And in the meantime, you can share it out. We do appreciate it as well. So we had lots of conversation here, and most of it was either kind of like wondering which way of or what way of doing it would be the best, or actually plainly going with it. There was more pros than there was cons for it, and more people were for it and then against it. Now, your price of $1,000 or $2,000 was a little bit overwhelming.
I'm sure it is. Continue.
And it's just an idea. Obviously, we're not talking about anything that is going on. It's just an idea, and has more of a symbolic meaning to it. Now, there are lots of platforms out there, and like Cardoso Media was mentioning, Spotify, for example, or other streaming services that do have a charge, or they do have a filtering system for their creators to be able to post their content on there. And they do get monetized. They do get royalties for their content being played, like Spotify. Once again, Cardoso Media was saying. So it could be something that is a yearly fee, or, maybe sign-up fee. For example, a one-time sign-up fee, and then a monthly fee of, kind of like a membership, so to say. That would ensure that there is some kind of liability from YouTube towards creators as well. Shining Through NK said, what if you came in after the mess was already made? I mean, I started uploading videos just to find an outlet to keep my mind sane and positive while dealing with postpartum depression. And I think a lot of people are on YouTube here as well as part of their outlet, so to say. I've recently seen a Twitter post out there as well where talking about recent changes, how people are going to be able to pay the fines with the recent COPPA guidelines if mainly lots of people came here on YouTube was as part of their self-therapy. And I do see the point of it. And now again, I know probably it's not a popular opinion, but this is not a social media. I do enjoy lots of the channels that do talk about their struggles and share their opinions in a way that is not only self-therapy, but also helps other people to understand the message and to feel not alone. There's different ways of how to do it, right? But there are also a lot of channels that maybe, if we are talking honestly, belong on Facebook videos. There, you can post videos there. It's just different parts of social media are for different things. YouTube, yes, started with a cat video, but it was for creativity, for making videos or live streams to have it and still be as a video hosting platform, not a social media as Facebook is. It's completely two different ways of expressing yourself. My question is why people who do have it, and maybe you are here in the chat, and I would really want to know your opinion, why you decided to choose YouTube that has much more complicated ways of getting your word out there than to stay on Facebook and post your videos there.
Can I share something for a sec?
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Once again, there you go. Limited monetization. Look what we're discussing tonight.
Of course.
There you go. Once again, there it is right there. Limited monetization for it.
Yeah, that's not surprising, really. But all that means is that it's gonna just have less push from YouTube, and yes, obviously,
But this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. What are we talking about? So diffuse it. Why? Because we're involving the platform. That's exactly what's causing it. This is exactly one of the great reasons of why I would pay it. Because then they would know what we talk about, wouldn't have to deal with this all the time. And once again, we're not greedy and worried about the couple of dollars that are going to come in from the advertising. It's the push that we're missing. That's why we ask you guys to really tweet it out and hit the like button, because this is what we're constantly working against anytime we do these things on the platform.
Yeah, we gain on average about $7 for our live stream on average. So it's not really changing too much, but the push is what matters the most in being monetized or not.
Exactly. There's an example right there. That's why I want to share with you guys. And back to people doing it for therapy and that. What if you're doing a really great channel that's helping other people? Wouldn't it be nice if you could pay, set up and say, look I'm not telling people to do this. I am not some way back. I'm actually helping people. And then they could decide to say, you know what? You're in the good. And then you wouldn't be hurt by it or be shadow banned from just talking about actual problems that are going along.
That's right.
That you could actually have the chance to do it. Like Philip DeFranco, you can go to the big ones again, like in that part, could actually say, listen, I'm talking about the news. I do the news. I'm not promoting this. I'm talking about what's going on in current events. Good. You're going to get the green. Only if there's like tons of complaints, they'll have to physically come and check and see what is causing it. They wouldn't let you get flagged right away. You wouldn't get yellow. Because yes, we applied for the review. We're going to get it back. 99% of the time we do. But that's after the show is over. That's after the live stream is done. And after the push is gone that we need to be able to get out to people. Does that seem fair? I don't find it is at all. At all. And I've been sharing this more and more with you guys. Physically showing, we used to say it. Now I'm showing you guys. There you go. We're limited again.
Cardoso Media says with music distribution, you can pay anywhere from $7 to $10 for a single to get it on all online streaming services. You then collect royalties from the streams off of that, and YouTube should do the same. Same works with podcasts. You do pay for hosting your podcast and being distributed in all services, yet you do gain money from advertising. So I do really struggle with understanding of why YouTube has chosen not to do that in order to provide better quality content. We can argue though that YouTube has the biggest audience out there for media platforms, and nothing ever will get the same amount of audience that YouTube has. It's just never going to happen again, just the way it has happened, due to the history of internet and social media. They know it, and that's why they use it. They know that if 15 people are going to drop off today, 100 more are going to sign up tomorrow. So for them, each and every one of us has no importance whatsoever. For them is the bottom line, and bottom line is that people keep signing up because there are more people that get access all across the world to internet, get more access to computers and things like that. It's not only talking about North America, but the whole global network altogether.
The sad part is, when it's all said and done, it's actually helping them because, there's the channels, there's less we have to worry about. It's being replaced by new ones. The sad part is a lot of the good ones are going away, and it's being replaced by more and more that just don't want to do anything on here. But I do want to address Pixelpia Teaching and Learning. Are you saying that YouTube should be primarily for cinematography videos? No, anything but. No, just channels that are trying to do something on here that's putting in effort. I've always said that, guys. No matter what your channel is, the draw. I'm going to bring up somebody here. I'm going to bring up an example. I'm going to bring up Nomad Unbroken, Nomadic Bike. He has 2 channels. I've seen where he started pretty much from on here, and I see where he is now. And to me, that's the picture of YouTube. Us as well. When we started live streaming, we didn't have a clue what we're doing. And we're not at the top of our game. It's not that we have to be a studio production like equivalent to ABC or NBC, etc. It's about the want to always getting better, improving, and just making it more of a show. I've said it a lot with live streams. You know, that's why Ian, Still Winter Nation, I'm singing out channels like that a lot lately. Because that's what we need is more channels doing that, is turning live streams into legitimate shows. He does. He has a beginning, a middle, and an end. He has a theme to it. The production is really great. And I went back and looked through and seen where he's been building himself up to in that. And that's what's important, is just to want to get better, no matter what your message is or what you do on here. And it doesn't mean you need to go broke, anything but. Don't go, I cringe when I hear people sometimes what they spend just to get started in here. Well, this setup here, we watched this up, we could have spent 5 times as much and went with lights that would have been a lot less trouble and all these things. So we're not going to do that. But over time, we've been buying and slowly updating. We started off, we weren't supposed to live stream. We had a Rode Mic Pro for my camera sitting inside a set of Allen keys as a base for 60 interviews. We had no mixer, we had no nothing. It was all direct in. It was just off the laptop. Over time we learned. We just kept learning and updating slowly and buying things as they went on sale and things and music. We used super chats a lot more, so we started getting more well known, started getting more super chats. We started using that money to make our show better and better and better. Not all goes to it, but a lot is going into it. It's just the want to make something that's oh my God. I'm going into all kinds of kettle of worms. I just believe with the money part, it just keeps people more on track to what they came here to do. And it pushes them more to keep doing what they do and get better at it because they have some skin in the game. And the returns come actually a lot quicker. Because if they're pushing you more because you've been kind of bonded by YouTube, you're not kind of maneuvering through all the mess, all you can see the trees through the forest at that point. So you start getting better returns onto it. And like I say, a great example is this, guys. Does this really seem fair, really, when it's said and done? A lot of you that's been here, especially since we started tonight, does it look fair to have that as limited monetization? I'm not looking pity for us. I'm just talking about YouTube in general, because this is a great example of many things that happen on here that are just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And that's mostly because we put YouTube in the title. And we know most times when we do it, this is going to happen. I forgot to check it earlier because I was going off. But usually we do. Sometimes because it can be done before we even hit the go button. But then you see some of the other stuff that's going on, and that's good stuff. Keep running with it. You're doing fantastic. I mean, topics I don't even want to discuss on here because I don't want to put us even further. God forbid it might even get us demonetized for the night. So, it's frustrating, and there's many things that come with that, and it's a lot of, there's just too many out of the gates, and it's like a free-for-all. And I do get channels, guys. I do get channels coming in and that. Oh my God, I can't wait to get up on the wheel, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. What have you done? What is there? Oh, don't look at the content. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Oh, don't look at my channel. Don't look that I don't have this or that or yeah. I hear you. I'm going to do this and that. Wait till I get 1K, 4K. Then grand things are going to happen. The whole world is going to open up, and it's going to be amazing content. By then, most times people don't care because they realize after a couple months it takes to get their first check or something like that. They're so realizing that it's not what they thought it was going to be, and they just don't care. It's not going to happen. And by then their channel's already dead from not putting enough work into it at the beginning, that by the time they got there, everything has fallen to pieces anyway. So even if they do, that's the sad part of it all, It just would keep people more in line, more in track of what they want to do on this thing. Because I know you're going to say, why give YouTube money? Do you know what YouTube, recently, the economists after the last quarter were telling Alphabet that they should separate YouTube in its own entity. Do you know what the value is, the primary value they would give YouTube? They're estimating around $300 billion. $300 billion YouTube is worth as a self-entity. That's an early estimate, but that's where they're putting it. But it's not for them. It's for us. I would love to be a freelancer for YouTube in this way. The same as in the article I showed you a while ago. I don't know if she's a freelancer. I haven't looked into her enough yet. I was just quoting her tonight, but Julia Alexander. But a lot of these people are freelancers for here. So when they do an ad, say, we're just going to pretend for the sake of argument right now she is. Well, when she does an article for The Verge, she's under some protection. They've basically checked her sources, checked her credibility, checked her past enough to verify that she does a decent job, and they can bring her up here, and if they get any scrutiny about what was mentioned in this article, they have her back, up to a certain degree. And the same with YouTube. I mean, if you go and blow it all and go nuts on your after that happens, and they come down to you like a hellhammer, well, you have only yourself to blame. You can't ask for your money back. You can't ask for all that stuff. You're the one who chose to do it. You chose to go through the process, and then you completely went against their guidelines and all that. Well, sucks to be you. But I feel we would have a lot better guidelines as they would, because they would tell in advance, well, we don't like to talk about this. We don't want this to be seen. This shouldn't be in here, etc., 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 etc. We would have guidelines to follow. Because right now, when we shared that 40 pages of words you can't say, they don't owe us anything. But a lot of times we're putting up those videos using those titles, using those sentences, using those topics without a clue how much it's damaging our channel. We don't know nothing about it. But if we're freelancers for them, they want to keep us in good guidelines because they've vouched for us. They've bonded us. So now they have skin in the game as well with us. And that's the return onto it. And why do I think, I'm going to say it, why do I think that it shouldn't be $5 or $8 a month type of thing? Because the ones that are problems are still going to follow. They're going to get some way, they're going to find a way to scam themselves into it. It needs to be enough that somebody has to really think, is it worth it? And to also make it enough that YouTube can have enough people on to properly scrutinize the channels, to keep the problem ones from getting further with it, and to deal with them if they become problems down the road. That's why I believe in that. I believe in it wholeheartedly. We're not rich guys. We're not anything like that. I just honestly believe at this point, and from what I've seen happening over the last year and a half, it seems like the only way to start to curb one absolute disaster. I would love nothing more than if Xenia and I could spend, if we could spend all the time that we have to spend on all the other stuff, dealing just with what we do on here, the show would be 5 times ahead of itself. There's things we wanted to do for months, we can't. We just cannot seem to get enough time to do it because we got to deal with all the other problem stuff on the side. Emails to YouTube, all that. We're not going to go into it much, and Xenia's eyes going to probably open as big as saucers. We've also were hit with a trolling ring over the last couple of months. That is in the middle of YouTube. That we're waiting on for. The stuff that Xenia's, and especially Xenia's had to deal with on that, has been nothing short of astounding. This is stuff I would rather not us have to be part of. We have a life, we have kids, and we like to put in the best show we can when we're on here. But more and more, we spend more time dealing with the problems on here of this platform that's just basically gone array instead of doing what we should be doing on here. And that's where I feel it'd be money well invested, because there'd be a way more return onto it. Emotionally, financially, all of the above would be better. That's my personal opinion onto it. I really do believe in that. And I think it would benefit a lot of people more. And I know the upfront cost sounds scary, but in the end, it would weed out a lot of problems. And the ones that got together, it'd be just like starting a business. It'd be just like starting a business. You'd have to go off and figure ways to do this to get it done. And is it worth it and all that? But if you do it, you're going to feel pretty good because you committed yourself and you're ready to do it, and you're going to know that you have some protection from YouTube. It won't be Shangri-La, but it definitely will be a lot better than what it is right now. Because honestly, and I'm terrified to say it and jinx it, I don't know how much more worse it can get. I really don't. I'm almost terrified to see where this can all go downhill from here. So it's too easy for the trolls and such hateful people to get away with their acts. Yeah, exactly. Check out Grant McIntosh and see when he was swatted. Stuff like that. All these kind of things that go on here. I mean, and I'm not going to insult Grant. It was the same thing with us and stuff that's went on in that. Does that make sense to a channel at the time? I think Grant was maybe, 2K or something like that, Grant? Don't quote me on it, but somewhere around there. Does that make sense that a channel that size should go through that kind of misery? Would it prevent it all? No, but it would start to go through. Because the second part is, I truly believe that, you know what, YouTube dropped the ball. It should have did YouTube Kids years ago. Had a 1K. There you go, 1K, and swat it. You just hit 1K. There you go. It says a lot. It really does. And I mean, that's one of many, 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 many stories. And I'm not taking away from Grant. I'm just saying, you know, the sad part is it's not a one-time affair. I've watched it just sink and sink and sink, and so many people sink with it, and it's too bad. Some really good people with some really, really good intentions turn. Not just, and don't think it's not just on us. I'm just talking in general. I mean, there's stuff like this going on every day. If you go and hit your subscription button, you're going to see live streams going on all the time. And there's always some that are going to be because they got a beef with somebody who just said something to them, didn't like somebody like that, and it becomes like a witch burning, you know. I feel if they cleaned it up, a lot more people can concentrate on what they came here to do, enjoy a lot more what they do, and when you enjoy more what you do, that comes out in what you do, and more people enjoy it, and the numbers go up. Everything starts to fall in place. Will you become a 1 million, 2 million subscriber channel? Who knows? It's very unlikely. It's hard to get to. But at least you'd feel successful in what you're doing. At least you'd be going somewhere instead of feeling like you're spinning your wheels in the mud.
And we still have some comments here that I wanted to get to as well.
Sure.
Pixel Teaching and Learning asked if the channel, if all channels altogether should be, in your opinion, paying for it. And it kind of goes with also what some of the people asked, Free to Laugh Now. Would it make sense to have tiers of YouTube, like YouTube Pro, for example, where there would be a base classic YouTube for free for everyone, and then YouTube Pro would be something what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You could have three, 4 tiers into it. Maybe the bigger you go, it goes in hierarchy. The biggest thing would be to protect you from stuff that getting attacked from other channels. I do believe everybody should be on here because it's not adult YouTube Kids. Should be registered on here with a credit card. And I think every channel to be on here should be registered. I really do. And I know I'm going to get hit with the anonymous. I know that. I know already. But really, at this point, we've seen what it's become on here. It would clean it up a lot. Or at least they can watch, but they can't interact. They can't flag the channel. If they're not, I never thought of that till now. If they're not registered with a credit card, even as a viewer, they can just register the credit card, no cost, no nothing to them or any channel. But if they're not registered with a credit card, that channel cannot flag, that channel cannot hit a like or dislike or comment. It can only view, that's it, that's all. Nothing more, nothing less. I never thought of it that way till now, but that, yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. You're allowed to watch, no problem at all, but you have absolutely, it would almost be like you're watching in incognito mode if you don't register. I still wish to get rid of that stupid dislike button because it's absolutely pointless. You don't like something, take the time and write it into it. That's just a troll tool when it was said and done.
No, there are lots of questions and comments are also about would we trust YouTube to not just take advantage of it and basically not do anything about it and just get the money and so to say. But, they already are doing what they're doing. Without us paying, without them being accountable, they are already pushing a whole bunch of things that we have to do and lose our channels and strikes this, strike that, and rules this and that. And latest COPPA one is not even YouTube. It's government. It's U.S. government. So that's not even YouTube's responsibility altogether. But nevertheless, they are already are basically not taking accountability for anything. We are as creators, and yet we don't get anything back. Where is that protection? Where is services? Where is like Nomadic Bike was saying, maybe music that would be included that is more popular that you could be able to use, like TubeBuddy services that would be included into the payment services, things like that. It is a service and it should be. Nowadays, you have to provide value for people to come to you as a business. Well, YouTube has started a long time ago, and besides hosting videos, they are not providing value, because all they're doing is they're pushing videos that are earning them more money. And for us, yes, it's free. They're hosting our video, but that's it. There's nothing else coming back to the YouTuber, and that's the question that should be solved. And lots of podcast community streaming services are already solving it, and it's working. So we would just be able to ask more. Now we ask for all of these things, but really we don't have any right to, because it's free. We are not partners. YouTube is not employing us. Many people think that we are employed by YouTube. No, we're not. They're just letting us
we
use
have no
their
say,
platform.
no nothing.
Exactly.
We're there by the graces. All the terms of service that you agreed to when you got on here was to protect YouTube and had your interests nowhere to be found. I just want to address, where is it? Nomad Unbroken. That's the worst idea, because they would leave only the rich doing the YouTube channels, and we would be taken over by Will. We already taken over by the Will Smiths. That's the sad part of it. This would force them to start taking us seriously, and at least have a piece of what's left over between all of it. And I get what you're saying. Believe me, that's one of my biggest frustrations of all, is how much, since the mainstream TV has come in here, I have no bitterness to any big YouTuber, whether I like them or not. They have earned their right to be on YouTube and gotten where they are. It's the transplanted ones from television movies that just burns me to no end. It really does, because they're getting the... Don't forget, guys, they're getting way better treatment than the ones that, like Linus Tech Tips, like Markiplier, like... I know a lot don't like it. I'm not a big fan. Jake Paul and all. Even them, they are getting the top tier treatment as anybody that's connected to the movie or the TV area, and that makes me sick. And we should be being able to at least be able to have another tier for us in between all of that. I really do believe in that. We get left in the cracks so many times on it here. And it would keep them, they'd have to give us some accountability for it. Because don't forget, by doing this, you've also proven to them, okay, they paid money, they let us test out their channels. You're a big pain off their shoulders removed, because you're less worry. You take less resources in the end, and you've actually put money into the pot as well. So less worries about this channel, and they can focus the resources more on the channels that are causing problems.
YouTube is a business. You don't make them money. They don't want to. That's correct. YouTube is a business, and that's one of the things that we do also forget in a way. The same as Facebook, Twitter. We kind of almost like had synonymously put it all together. Like internet is equal to Twitter, equal to YouTube, equal to Facebook. Like YouTube is equal to internet. It's not. YouTube is on internet. It is a business whose main objective is their bottom line. So yes, I mean, it's understandable. It's business like any other business. They want to earn money. This is not a charity. But at the same time, if they're using us as creators in order to gain that money from advertisers, there should be some sort of service once again provided that would have that accountability if something wrong happens.
Guys, we're without a net on here. We have nothing to lean back onto. All of us here, everybody here, including us, could wake up tomorrow morning with a note from me, an email. Your channel's been terminated, and they don't have to do a damn thing about it. That's how little we have. No net. There is nothing here to protect us on what we do on here. Nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. We're just left to our own devices. Maybe a YouTube membership. I agree, but I would rather it be upfront money, and I would rather go through an audition. I don't want the problems to find their way into this system. I would want something, if I'm going to pay money, that is going to deal with other channels that are being a problem on here. Otherwise, it's not worth a cent, and I don't want to pay anything. I would only be willing to do it if the fact was that there was a benefit to knowing that they were using it as a way of finally clearing out the problems on YouTube. Because otherwise they're going to get into it. I know I keep bringing that term up tonight, but I do believe it's good when people have to put something into it a little bit more than just the day-to-day. I wouldn't want it like a TubeBuddy subscription. Because most of us can scrape together $8 a month. I want somebody to have to think about it and us to sit down and think, God, is this worth it? Is this really worth it for me to do? Because the only way I would then do it is if after the rainbow is done, after reviewing it all, there would be some sort of rainbow at the end of it where we wouldn't have to deal with all the problems that were onto it. We would be properly protected. I would want something pretty big from YouTube in return for doing this. You know what I mean? That's why I don't look at it as wasted money, because they would be taking us on as a freelancer with some pretty understandable goals of what we need as freelancers to be able to do what we do on here properly. That's why I have trouble with the month-to-month one, because some people have been asking. But I would pay it off not to worry about trolls, Ghost Pirate says. Yes, exactly, trolls and limited monetization and all the other things that come with it. All the secret things that go on YouTube. I mean, they're not going to give us the code to their algorithm or nothing. But like again with those words, the 40 pages of words you can't say on YouTube. You put all this work into a video or a live stream just for it to go up and go poof nowhere, because you weren't aware that you shouldn't be using this word or that word. I mean, why the hell can't we know? Those words are, yes, there's some real foul words on it, but we all know what they're going to get us when we do them. It's about all the stuff that we don't know about, that we trip into, honestly. Like the brand of toothpaste can get you shadow banned. Who the hell knew about that? I mean, everybody was shocked about that one. Please do not write in the chat. You can go back to our video on the 40 pages you can't say on television. Once I looked it up and realized the connection to it and what it's there for, it's actually some myths about using it for penis enlargement. But if you don't want me to say that word, you don't want the title, tell me. I could see a ton of people putting that brand of toothpaste in without ever a care, thinking that it had anything that would get them shadow banned on that video. There's so many ways to fall into this disaster on here without even knowing it. And they would then have to give us those tools so we can work properly and not be a problem to them. And they would have to worry less about us. So it'd actually be a benefit for them as well. I do believe in the tier. I believe everybody has a chance to be on YouTube. But we should have a right to pay to go up into that if we choose to do so. I really do. I'm sorry, but like tonight, once again, by getting limited monetization on something that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, fuels it more and more and more. This happens a lot for us on here. I mean, we like talking about what's going on with YouTube. We love this platform. We wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't be on here. We're not disparaging the platform. We're not saying to go anywhere else or anything like that. And this is the kind of stuff that happens for it. That's why I'm starting to share with you guys more and more as it's happening, because it happens a lot. It really does, especially when we talk about the platform. There's been a couple of shows we wanted to do that we just won't touch because it's just not going to go anywhere. We know it's not. Our wheel sometimes gets limited monetization. For what? It's the same thing every week. It's not because we started cursing a blue streak for 10 minutes. A lot of times it's just an algorithm screw up. Wouldn't it be nice if we were protected from that the algorithm couldn't just jump in and hit us with that? If somebody who just got angry because we threw them out for doing something they're not supposed to do on our live stream couldn't just flag us, or et cetera, all these things. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some protection from all that? Then we could concentrate more on what we do. Sorry, I keep going on. What's the next question? I know you have more questions. Sorry.
We had a great question here from Pixelpia Teaching and Learning. Can you talk a bit more about how you can see, how do you see a contract between creator and YouTube could look like? What would it include, in your opinion?
Well, basically, those stated facts like that, that you would basically, if anybody, if you know what I mean, like talking about like bonded, for instance, if you work in a jewelry store or different places like that, they bond you. They've basically signed and agreed that you're covered, by YouTube within reason, within limitations. That basically the terms that YouTube sets out, that you are a validated channel by a real actual rep who investigated you and can say that what they've seen up to this day and from what they've chosen through, you do fall within the YouTube requirements of what's talked about. Therefore, they do not need to worry about you all the time. Oh, please no Let's Grow. I'm begging you, please no Let's Grow for the please no Let's Grow. Sorry. That term is driving me crazy. That would be covered. So if somebody gets kind of miffed with you and decides, oh, well, we'll just hit we'll flag them for something because they said something mean to us or whatever, that it wouldn't have the same effect. They'd maybe get on like a standby, and then the rep would actually verify it to see if there's a problem. Or so that would be one. Like all these things we would be kind of protected from. If you go outside of the terms and that, well, then you're on your own. It's okay, man. I'm sorry. Lately, I've been removing that comment a lot lately. I'm sorry about that. And I apologize, and I do apologize. It's become a bit of a button issue with me. I apologize for that. No problem. No worries. But yeah, I just, within guidelines that we would work into under the agreement with this money pay, that they agree to put us in a high-ranking advertising rate, which means we get more push, because they verified that our content works within YouTube's guidelines, and therefore they would feel safer recommending us to more people and having the higher advertisers advertise on us. And that could even be an option that some channels might pick then, just to go with those type of channels that are in that program, that they have been bona fide certified through it. And they wouldn't go, there's no way to expect YouTube to do it for something like $8 or $10 a month. It's not going to fly because of the resources. We have to be realistic here. They would have to hire more people and have them actually verify a channel. Maybe it would take a week. Same as we went through the monetization process. Maybe it'll take a month to get certified by YouTube as a certified content creator. And therefore, that opens a lot of doors. Can you see us have influence on policies in any way, like the 40-page word list? Well, I figured then, if they don't, they want to keep us in those terms and they've vouched for us, they would want us to know about those words so we wouldn't be using them, therefore not going out of the bounds, because then they can't hold you accountable if you don't know what they are. So that adds them also, that's the accountability from their side, for instance, that would help. Because they can't really then go and knock you for talking about them if you didn't know they weren't supposed to be used. I mean, if it's something they'll probably say into it, gratuitous profanity, nudity, etc., whatever they suit, Basically, they have it when you first, the advertisers come in. They get to pick from 7 different criteria what they feel comfortable advertising into. So I would see it as we would have to be proven that we meet all of those 7 criteria. Therefore, we are completely advertiser friendly. Do you think they really will change creators to? Do you really think they will change creators to be on here? Hey, it's worth talking about. I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is something I've talked about since last year. I do believe some things will change somewhere down the road. Let's just hope maybe once in a while it might work out for us. And I would consider that a huge victory for us. Because, I mean, a lot of channels in here I know are putting a ton of time into what they do. And yes, it would be a bit of money up front, but I think the returns on them would be so much more valuable to them. And they would want to keep creating, and they wouldn't lose their path on here. That's what happens. It's not just the channels that come in that are a mess off the get-go, but it's the channels that I see that really have something together, becoming an unraveled mess from the frustration, from the cyberbullying, from the constant knockdowns from YouTube and changing their policies over and over and over. There would be another thing too. They change the policies. You could have like a grandfather clause. Your other videos stay the same in that because they okayed them in the past, so you're still okay. So you don't need to worry. I'm watching a Lego channel today with 30-some thousand subscribers. The guy says it's probably my last video. It's awful. It's awful. He should be able to have a forum where he's covered. They say, yes, he talks about this, but it is geared towards an adult audience. He has been bonded, and he's good. Wouldn't that be nice? Because somebody physically from YouTube looked and is vouching for what they've seen as what is presented. And therefore, I've said it, guys, about the kids' YouTube. It should have been around years ago. And they should have moved everything over there and offered great incentives for all the YouTube channels that create towards kids, like toy channels, not adults that do Lego or adult comics and stuff like that, but that actually gear towards kids. There you go. Great incentives for you being there. Great advertising rates. We're going to be a lot stricter on you guys, but it will pay off for you if you choose to go. And there you go. YouTube has been taken care of. They have no place on here. And if kids wander on to youtube.com, that is the parents' problem for not monitoring what the kids do. We've done our job. There is the option, and they come over. So, oh, heated? Really?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, guys.
In the meantime, we do have a question and statement. So, question from Ketchup ISMR to the people in the chat. How much, if there would be a paying service, how much would you be willing to pay with all of the mentioned above services being available, protection, accountability, and everything that we just talked about? How much would you be willing to pay? Put that in the chat just for the interest. And Nomad Unbroken is saying, me being van life, I know the people that would protest that, and the lashback from the viewers against the people that paid. So what Nomad Unbroken is worried is about the division between the creators that are paying and are not.
I get that. I do get that. I do understand that. And I don't know. But there's already... You know, Nomad... This is the thing. There's already so much division on here. There's always division on here. And it's getting worse. And most of it's hate driven anyways. And I get what you're saying onto it. I'm trying to, because I do get where you're coming from. You know, I do. And you're one of those channels, I'm sorry, I think would benefit a lot from that paid service from it. You're one of the ones. I know it goes against the principles of what you're talking about and what YouTube was meant to be. I get that. But I really do. I think you're one of those channels that would benefit immensely because you get a lot more push and you've been working so hard, and I believe the benefits from it would far outweigh the initial costs. But that's just me. There's already divisions. I mean, YouTube is absolutely full of divisions, and I see it more every day. I feel like YouTube is like when ice breaks in the spring. It's just one gigantic crack after another. And that's the sad part of it all. I could try and candy coat it. I could try and do it. But I mean, I just see break after break after break. And I believe a lot of it's coming from the frustration of being on here and it not going anywhere. And I believe you gave people a path to have a chance of it actually feel like they're getting somewhere, and to actually give them a chance that they feel they have some control back in their hands. Like, for me, by doing it, it actually makes me feel more in control of what I do on here than I do now. Because now I just feel like I'm just standing out in the middle of a tennis court with balls being fired at me, and you never know when one of them's going to hit.
Yeah, there's so not many people are willing to express their opinions on the price, but there is $15-$20 floating around $0 as well, but in a realm of $15-$20 a month, which would be then what, $300-$400 a year. You know, yeah, it definitely, and I see also a sentiment of it already divided between the people that are monetized and not, as well as it was much easier and better before they started to pay creators, because then nobody was expecting anything, and there was less division, and basically you could create what you wanted and nobody wanted anything. So it was much more better that way before they were paying creators.
Woodstock, to me, was one of the greatest concerts ever. Some of the best musicians ever. And we all know, guys, what the message was. Peace and love, just fly high. But, guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't work that way when it's said and done. It's a nice message. And YouTube is never going back to the way it was before. And it would have been gone by now had they not monetized. Because, especially with the size of video. Remember, back then, guys, video was like a big video was 640 by 480 for 2 minutes. Nobody can pay for the amount of server space that's taken up now. It's just not going to happen anymore, and we have to think within those realms. They had to charge otherwise. I know it changed the format of it. I completely agree with you on that. Completely. And we're lucky we're still getting it free today, even with the monetization of people who just want to create. There is a free platform in it. YouTube is there. All you have to do is upload. It's there. And Metro Drones, thank you so very much, my friend. Happy Monday to you as well. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really, really do appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
That's very kind of you.
Shane M is asking, as part of paying, would you expect a higher payout back in terms of advertising?
Yes. I would expect to be in the top tier of advertising because I'm bonded by them. I should meet all their 7 criteria, their 7 check boxes, and they should have no worries about it. I should be at the top of that. And once again, it's not you're going to get rich by it, it's that we'll get more exposure from it. And the more we're doing that, the more it's growing, the more we're putting back into it, and that the more it's driving you to keep wanting to get better and better because you're seeing results. I hope I'm saying it right.
And they're different. Obviously, once again, it is our thoughts and nothing that YouTube has stated themselves. We're just kind of thinking of, what would be there that would help to save what is going on with YouTube right now, because definitely it is changing a lot. It is going to change a lot in January as well, but it's not the end. There's more changes to come, not only on YouTube, all across the internet as well. So, there's something has to change, that's for sure. There is a lot of free-for-all has been. It's not going to change back. We can't reverse the time.
The type of channel we do, the messages we get from creators, too, that also takes its toll, too. It's just seeing people. They say some people are vocal in the chat, some people don't want to be, and then they send us 2-page, Twitter messages and stuff like that. It's hard to listen to, but not that we don't want to listen to it. The hard part is they're depressed about something that they're actually right about. It's hard to say they're there, it's all going to be good, and it's a fun place, and everything is great, and everybody's here just to cheer on supporters, and YouTube got your back. It's not the case. It's just, I wish it was like that, but it's not. It's really not. And we get them a lot, guys, a lot of people like that. And like I say, some people that really have a great message on here, some people that really, really, really are doing some amazing things. And that's sad to watch. It really is. And they just get lost in the mix of all this, and there's so many puddles and so many divisions. That's why when you're saying a division between the ones who do it and don't, somebody brought up a good point. Sorry, I forget all the names right now about there's already a division between who's monetized and not. That is true. But there's also within those two groups, take the monetized group and take the demonetized group, there's a million fractions within there and a million fractions that overlap between the two, and it's just nothing but divisions. And I believe if people are doing that and getting further, the less they will want to be involved in those divisions. Here's a great thing I've been thinking about for a while. I forget now, it was Casey Neistat when he got together with Peter McKinnon. Now, these guys are big YouTubers. They didn't pinky swear and tie at the hip for years. It was literally like a DM. Hey, I see what your channel does. Listen, I'm going to be in Netherlands. Casey is in New York. He's going to Netherlands. Peter McKinnon lives outside of Toronto, 2 hours. It was text messages. It was DMs. Hey, I was thinking, if you can make your way over here, do you want to do something together? I got something. I'm going to be over there this weekend. That's how those things work like that. It's not hours on the phone and cheering. It's a very individual sport, but they're not hating on each other. They're either working exactly fully. By doing this, I feel it would give us the same focus that channels have that have 3-4 million subscribers. We could be as focused as they are. Even though we're not bringing as much in as they are, we would be covered enough from the day-to-day issues from YouTube and problem YouTubers that we could just focus on what we do and give our channel that same attention that those ones do that have 4, 5, 6 million. Because you wouldn't have to worry about all that stuff, because YouTube would protect you from that stuff. You could be more on to what's important, making better and better and better content. It would take away all those distractions. It would take away those bad feelings. There's always something to not like what you do. You can't be a snowflake on here either. You got to accept it. We're more than happy that some people don't like us, because we're not for everybody. I don't want to be for everybody. And I'm happy especially when somebody doesn't like us, hits that unsubscribe and goes and finds what makes them happy. That's the best gift for them and for us. So it's not about then everybody's going to like you in that. It's that you don't have to focus onto it. You don't get caught in this circle that goes around here, whether it's with YouTube or with other creators. You can keep moving forward. And that's what the big guys are doing. And I just feel that we don't get a chance a lot of times for a lot of us to be able to put as much effort into what we do on here because of all the other distractions and things going on. I really don't. I feel a lot of people could do a lot more amazing things and be a lot more inspired if they could protect themselves a bit from all of that.
Yeah, I think there is a doubt and a shadow kind of overall in not trusting YouTube that anything would change if we would be paying, and basically that they are such a billion company that they should be paying more, basically us, than us paying to them. But the point is not the amount of money. The point is that it becomes a contract of some kind of relationship. Right now it is not. Yes, we signed the agreement, the terms of service, but we're nothing for YouTube, really. We're just using their platform. With giving any amount of money, no matter if it would be $15 a month or $2,000 fee, whatever it would be, we can fantasize about. That would create a contract of liability and responsibility from both sides, and that's the part that we're talking about that is missing in this equation right now. Everything that we talk about is already happening. The bigger players up there on the homepage, advertising pushed more for bigger channels, not caring about the smaller ones, division in community. That's all is already happening. By not doing the payment method, that wouldn't change because that's already is happening. The hope would be that there would be more investment from YouTube of liability, that they would have to have responsibility of actually do something about these things and not just leave them there. I know we do complain a lot about YouTube in general, but at the same time, once again, it's a free platform. So how do we have a right to say anything that we don't like here? We're just basically sitting here using their free space for free. Shut up and do your content kind of thing.
I'll give you an example, guys. If it would combat this, I'm already on board. That alone, do you know how much our numbers have slowed down tonight? And by doing topics that we like to discuss with you guys about YouTube, which I don't feel are anywhere near dangerous to any advertiser, to why would Ford or Chevy or Frigidaire or et cetera, Sony be worried about advertising with what we're doing tonight? Does this make any sense to you? If it could prevent that alone, it would be worth the money, because you know what? We'd be growing from it because more people would be seeing it. We'd be attracting new channels in here tonight, as well as many other channels, because as the numbers go up in the live stream, the more we get recommended to other YouTubers. By doing this brings down our numbers. We stop getting recommended less. It also brings us down. Then we're not getting because we're not generating the revenue for them that they want, because they want primarily as much A-rated content as possible, so they get their money's worth out of you. And I'm willing to do that for them. And I don't think I've broken any terms tonight. I don't think we've broken any terms tonight that would warrant a limited monetization just because we talked about the platform. But their way of looking at it is, they might say something bad about YouTube, so we're just going to give them limited monetization. There, problem solved. Does that mean they care about us? Anything but. They basically just said to hell with you. Good luck to you. If we were a freelancer with them, we'd already be covered. They know the topics we talked about, and this wouldn't be warrant, and we wouldn't be seeing stuff like this.
Pixelpia Teaching and Learning says, are you not afraid that YouTube would start interfering in what content they want from us? So more advertisers want us? They already are. They are. With having lists of words that you shouldn't be mentioning in your YouTube content, with having the P-scores in your behind the scenes homepage of the channel that rates you and tells YouTube which channel is better and which channel deserves more rates. They already are. If somebody on here thinks that they can do whatever they want on YouTube, it's false. It couldn't be more farther from the truth. YouTube is not only by their actual guidelines and things that you can and cannot do here on YouTube officially, do it. They also do it behind the scenes with their advertising, with their analytics, with pushing what they should be pushing because it's advertising friendly and not pushing. Mm-hmm. Do you know the channel that has 1 million subscribers possibly earns less than another channel that maybe has 20,000?
Yep.
Why? Because their advertiser rate is so much more different. You can have anything from $1 to, I think it's $9 on average per 1,000 views. Yeah. There's extra rates on top of that, but $1 to $9. So imagine if you get 1,000 views in your million subscriber channel and it's $1 rate.
Look at a couple months ago. The big tag, if you could get it into your sentence, your description and all that, was family-friendly content. YouTube was bending over backwards. You were getting more money on your CPM if you could work that to your favor. Now, it's a kick me sign. Now it's a good way to make sure that they disable comments, shadow ban you, all this stuff. That's how quickly things change on here. That's how they don't have your back. And think of all the content. Okay, well now I know for the future I'm not going to do that. But what about the 2 years of evergreen content that you've created, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, under that assumption that that was a really great place to be? And now it's not. Now it's gone the exact opposite. Just like that, like a light switch. It's gone from a great thing to a thumbs down on yourself. That's the kind of stuff also we could be protected from more. Because like I say, guys, if they ever did something like what I'm talking about tonight, and I have my doubts they're going to do it, or I wish they would, but we'll see. But I do have my doubts. They would have to give you something that makes it worthwhile to go into that program. Otherwise, who's going to do it? You're not going to go and spend that money unless it's beneficial to you. You know? YouTube does not like being in the papers much, so if they ever did come out with something like that, they kind of got to then start sticking to it, because they do not want to end up on the newspaper and the Forbes and everywhere else as much as they have. They don't like it. It's bad for business. It really is bad for business because it affects investors, guys. It really does. And that way we would have more of a say into it and influence, and they'd have more to risk if they didn't see it through. But it's only beneficial to them in the end if they were to do that. They would be the winners as well, not just us, them as well. Because what we're talking about tonight wouldn't be limited monetization. And they'd be pushing to get it in many channels in here because we've already been bonded. They feel safe with what we do, so they wouldn't have to worry. And if something come up that something becomes a new big buzzword they don't want you talking about, they would have to let you know, because they don't want to have a bonded channel fall apart. Because with the bonded channel, they could probably even get more out of the advertiser for it, because they would be covered by them, because they've checked them. They can validate that this channel follows the guidelines through and through. And the only way you would have somebody be able to check you properly would be some money invested into it to make it worthwhile for YouTube to have the people on to be able to check you properly. But the return onto it would be tenfold in your favor. Yeah, I just have it on Classic tonight because it was easier to show, because the other one I have it running right now. That's the only reason why I have it on Classic. Otherwise, I don't really use it anymore. CSI Decon, how are you? Great to see you. Great to see you. More comments, or I'm sorry, I was cutting off.
Well, people are just discussing mainly what we already talked about, and the pluses and minuses about it as well.
I love that you guys are discussing it. This is what it was really meant to be. It gets us all thinking. So hats off to you all, whatever side you're on to.
I like what Caruso Media mentioned before at the beginning of this chat, and reminded us all that even FTC said that we all are just fish in a barrel waiting to be shot.
That's right.
And that is so true.
Yep.
And not only talking about COPPA, and once again reminding you, we're not talking directly about COPPA or new terms of services, updated terms of services. We're talking in general about YouTube and the changes, so many changes that have come in the last year especially. And yes, it's true. There are so many of us that it starts to not matter on a personal level. Because it's just too many of us. It's just too many of us. That's just the truth. They
just don't care, guys. It'll be a way of forcing their hand to try and get them to take us a little bit more seriously. And money does talk. It really does. Because it can't get any worse than what it is, and I'm scared to say that because I've been saying that since last year. And wow, have I ever been proven wrong on many occasions. So, you know, I would only give them cash if it was affordable, or it's pointless. Most people have 3 pence and a bag of beans. I know, I get that. I do. The problem is if it's too low and people don't have to find a way to make it work, it's once again they're not really worried about it. You know, like I'll screw around with them. I'll just do a couple of good ones, and then I'm going to mess around. And not that you would. I'm just stating the fact onto it. That's usually how that all goes. It would have to be enough that somebody would really have to think long and hard, not to bankrupt them, not saying that it's, going to cost millions of dollars. I don't mean that. Realistically, yeah, I see a lot of times probably the $1,000 to $2,000 mark it would cost US to be able to get that kind of attention onto it. But if the return makes up for itself tenfold in a year, it's money well invested. The same way as when you start a business, you don't just like go on the side of the road and start handing out stuff. You got to put up money up front to be able to get a loan from the bank and to be able to set up the store and buy inventory and all that. It would definitely clean up what's on there, because because if people start going back onto it, well, that's going to screw it for everybody, and then we're all going to get screwed because they'll just get rid of the program and say it's not working. Too many channels are backtracking on what they did. They're ending up on the front of Forbes with ads in front of this and that. It'd have to be enough to make YouTube feel safe in bonding you. I mean, they're not going to literally do it through an insurance company or anything, but they would they would speak on your honor that you're an honorable channel that follows the 7 guidelines, the 7 criteria that advertisers can choose from what they want to advertise within, and they don't have to worry about your channel. And therefore also too, just the demonetizing alone, if that was to come to an end because of it, it would pay for itself for us. It really would. In no time, we would be making money off it. Even as small as AdSense is, it would pay for itself. Than like times tonight, because we do lose a lot of people, and that is frustrating. It really is. It burns me to no end how many times we get yellow coined on something for nothing. If anybody had taken a look at our channel and got to know us, would say this isn't ridiculous, so it wouldn't be happening. It may be going unnoticed, and they'd have to run by and just see, okay, is everything going well? They're not doing anything. No, okay, then screw it. It's good. Green light it. Keep it green lighted. They wouldn't yellow it until somebody checked. Yeah.
We have Rustic Angel Designs asked, what did you think about Discord or Telegram or Twitch instead of using YouTube? Lots of creators are jumping over to different other platforms. Once again, there are two things. YouTube is the biggest platform for audience and will be. I really truly believe there's never going to be the same. If anything, there's going to be more divided niche platforms, and really that is what it is. Twitch, yes, there are some people from YouTube there that mostly still a streaming service as originally was. Telegram, who remembers Telegram? No, I know it's there. I'm just joking. But Discord is there, but it's not really the same type of content or even a platform. It is YouTube. So you can jump over, but you're never going to get the same kind of exposure or potential of exposure. And that's why people are in YouTube. As for why people are doing it in the last week, and I was saying that in the chat, the COPPA ruling that is coming in January 1st doesn't apply just to YouTube. It does apply to any social media and streaming services all across internet. So if you think you're jumping over to Instagram or Twitch because now COPPA is coming over and taking everybody in YouTube, it's not only on YouTube. It's just YouTube was the first one to voice it because they had to pay the fine, but it does and will apply January 1st to everyone streaming and being a social media across.
They're cracking down, guys. It's cracking down across. It's been the Wild West for too long, and it got taunted. And honestly, the platforms didn't deal with a lot of stuff soon enough. They could have dealt with it on smaller increments, and they wouldn't have the FTC and them wouldn't have their nose in here today. It was by the doing of them of letting it go way too long, and this is what happens in the end. The Weird Desk US, look at the current model we have. You pay taxes and you get taxed more. Your voice means nothing unless you're a corporation with millions to pay for lobbyists. This is very true. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. But you see, by doing this, what I'm talking about, we'd actually become part of the YouTube system. And some people are going to say right away, oh, that's a seller thing. But if that's what I'm happy to make the decision if I want to do what YouTube wants or not. And if I don't want to work within their terms, I don't have to. But if I choose to and I feel comfortable doing it, I feel that I should be covered then by them because I am doing what you want to do. You should be able to vouch for me and we move on and let me do then what I do on here. If I don't want to, then, that's so be it. Don't have to. Also, Lodge says if we could invest up front in return for some kind of contract, more people could and would see it as a small business and act accordingly. Exactly, Lodge. Exactly. Exactly. You nailed it. And I don't want to take away from people that are on here for hobby and stuff. You can have a hobby and still still treat it seriously for what you do on here. Lots do. So it wouldn't change your love for what you do or anything. It would give you a chance to do more of what you love. That's the big thing about it. More people enjoy what you love. Nomadic Van Man says, would advertisers want to advertise on my small channel even if they have to pay for my channel? They do already. And if your content's what they're looking for and fits those 7 criteria. Basically, guys, when they say they want to advertise here, they go through a check form. They say, I'm comfortable with advertising on such and such, you know, whether it be coarse language, whether it be video game, animated violence, blah, 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 blah. I'm not, excuse me, I should say. And they check off what they're not comfortable being associated with. So if, in my opinion, for this to work, you would have to fit into all 7 that they could feel that you cover yourself with all of them, that you don't contain any of the above mentioned.
And you do now. In a way, YouTube does give you back for it if you do fit those criteria by giving you higher pay rate for advertising. And that's what we were talking about the difference of $1 to $7 or $9 per 1,000 views, because it depends how commercial friendly your videos or your content is. It matters where your audience come from, what their age is, and so on. So the more average viewer ad friendly your viewership is, the better rate you're getting. So that is already happening in a way.
Do you have sorry, I'm jumping ahead and I know you got something saved. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all okay.
Just out of curiosity, how do taxes work on YouTube? Do they send a W-4 at the end of the year? Mary Boozer's asking. It depends on the country you're into, because Mary's out of where?
If you're in States, you can actually ask them. You email them. There is going to be a tax thing. Just search for taxes and you can do that. But it does depend on the country. So definitely, you can claim a lot of things if you are registered as a personal business. You can definitely do that. Lots of people are doing, even people here in the chat, I know, that are already doing it. That was what I was trying to do to bring my hobbies into making a living for me. YouTube was never going to be my primary income. Yeah, and most of people, I think, haven't jumped on here as something that they would think would take over their whole lives or become a main income. Maybe some of people would, dreamt about it, but I don't think majority have jumped on it. It just kind of evolves into things eventually.
The thing is, whether you're on here as a pastime, whether you're here to make money, whether you want to use it as a side income, or you have dreams of making it a single income, whatever the choice, wouldn't it be nice to be able to just deal with that and do the best of what you have and not deal with all the other obstacles into it? That's what it comes down to. To be able to be on here and focus solely, because yes, the big ones get screwed with some too. I've said that right from the beginning. But one thing is they do get to concentrate more fundamentally on what they do. That's what makes them better and better as being YouTubers, because what time they do allocate to YouTube, they get to use it more wisely. And some of them still get, like I say, Philip DeFranco and all them still get limited monetization of that. And you can see the frustration in them and how they're actually dealing with it and starting to spread their wings and going into other areas as well to cover themselves. By this way, it would open up YouTube a lot more to advertisers, because they would vouch for us and we could do more of what we like to do. Because whether you're doing it for a hobby, whether you're doing it for primary or secondary income or whatever the choice, this doesn't help. Say you're doing it for a pastime. Say you're a gardening channel. And you've gotten better and better and better, and you've worked and you put 10, 15 hours into your video, with the shooting, the editing and all that stuff, a couple hours for thumbnails, researching tags and doing all that stuff, because you care about what you do and you want people to see it. And this happens to you. And maybe you've used one of the 40 words you can't say on YouTube type of thing, and you have not a clue what they are because it's so inconspicuous. You would have never known should somebody tell you. How fair is that? Whether it's just a side passion or anything like that, is this making your time worth it? Is this a good return on your hard work onto it? If only a quarter of the people see what you do because of that, because of an algorithm kick. Or another gardening channel is angry because your last video did okay, and then they start giving it a bunch of thumbs down, or they start hitting a flag, or they start doing whatever to it. All those things. Is that fair? It's not. Where that would protect you more from it. I wish they would even offer the package that they get rid of the dislike button if you did that. I think that would make a lot of channels definitely go to it. Definitely, I just want to focus on showing off what I am doing and not have to worry I'm going to lose everything when YouTube has a whim. Exactly. Just something that says, you know what? That's why, because I know that I know every time I talk this, there's going to be people say, and I know you are. You're just in here because you just want to share what you do. It's not, you don't have a dream about it. You don't have all these things. You just want to share it. But you still should be able to share it to the maximum amount of people as possible because you've worked hard onto it. You put a lot of effort into it. Your time, God forbid you were to figure out on the AdSense value of what your work is worth hour per hour on here, you'd probably never want to create again. So you're already going to the depths in your soul for the passion that you love. Shouldn't you at least have a chance to be seen by the most amount of people of that possible? You're not asking for charity, you're just asking for a fair chance. This is such an interesting discussion. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it, guys. This is something I've been talking about since last year, and I've taken some flag about it. Some agree, some don't, and that is fine about that. It's just to get us all thinking about what it's like on here, and really taking seriously about how limited we are on this platform, because we truly are. You know, it's unbelievable how much we're at the whim of a platform, how much we're at the whim of other channels and stuff like that.
Awesome Epic Adventures is here as well. Seven Wonders, we do have a couple live streams about the lists that are blacklisted. I just put the links in the chat. They're also on our playlist on the homepage. And talking about the 7 criteria, actually, that's a good suggestion. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I've never even thought of doing that before. That's actually a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Maybe we could do a whole show just on the different criteria, everything together like that. That would definitely be interesting. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
As for the 40 pages, you can go by. Oh, did you give the link or?
Yeah, I just set up both links in the chat.
We couldn't even talk with the night. We had to put the link on our Discord. And just as a side note, I tell everybody, if you go look them up, if you dare come and type one in here, you're gonna get thrown out. So anybody trying to be funny, I'm just telling you right now, it won't fly. But we took a lot of fly from YouTube for that, and you got to realize when they do that, we cover a couple of touchy subjects onto them. We're not putting them down. We were actually bringing the word so maybe more people won't put them in, which makes the platform even better. And for our thanks for all that, what did we get? As we usually get, we get limited monetization and less push for a couple of days. Because it's not just that day, guys. It lingers. It does. If somebody says that monetization or not doesn't really affect you, don't believe them, because it does. It does. And YouTube has said that although they don't push the monetized videos more, they do prefer to push the ones that are more advertiser friendly, which basically is the same thing. And it has shown as well that it does, in our practice at least, definitely it does push more the videos that are monetized. Other YouTubers, the bigger YouTubers, have been talking about that as well. Again, Philip DeFranco and lots of ASMR artists and so on have been talking about if it is demonetized, it gets a less exposure on YouTube subscription, homepages, suggested videos, and so on. So that is the part that is the most upsetting one usually, and not the actual money that potentially can come from it. Craving Crochet, hello from Toronto. Welcome.
Hello. Timing out, Tam's World. Yeah, I don't know, some kind of buffering that was going on for a while as well. Well, thank you so much for guys for all of the suggestions and such a great discussion in the chat as well. It's definitely something to think about. No, YouTube is not changing anything into the payment subscriptions or anything like that. So please, if you have anything like that hearing out there in the social world that's not true, all of the stuff that we're talking about is solely our opinion. It's not based on anything that is going on YouTube directly. It's just a consequence thought that we have had all throughout our work here on YouTube, and kind of came to an end a splash, so to say, after all the recent changes, especially. Once again, nobody's closing your channel and nobody's asking for you to pay.
And a big thank you once again to Julia Alexander, her piece here on The Verge. This is what kind of brought it back to life. I see Panic D video in the house. Sean, how are you? Great to see you. Sean has heard me talk about this many, many, many times. He'll vouch for that. He's known us for a long time. This is not something new out of our mouths. This has been going, this is a thought I've had for a long time. And honestly, the more I'm on, the more it just seems like a fit. I just want to address some, where is it here? The Weird Desk US. I can't see paying a bully your lunch money as helping. But the problem is there's so many bullies on here day to day. There's tons of channels being bullied by other channels on an hourly basis. It is disgusting. And that would actually protect you from a lot of that, which I know it's going against big business and stuff like that. But in the end, really that's where most of the bullies are, is the feeding frenzy that's been created via YouTube with their new with their idea when they came out with it for the 1K, 4K, added a lot of fuel to that fire and caused a disaster, a shitstorm. Well, I might as well say it. We're already not that a bit of cursing hurts it anyways, but it did. It turned into an absolute shitstorm. And it turned people that live normal lives coming on here and falling apart, some turning vicious, some quitting, some ending up in devastation, and all of those things. Where I feel this way, this would help protect us from a lot of it and keep a lot of good channels on track and doing what they do best. In the end, their sanity and their return on investment would be a way over. But to each their own onto it. It's just great to have a great conversation with you guys about it. I don't care about subs because I don't even make videos. I'm just here for a laugh. There you go. And that's fine too. And like I said tonight, I had never thought of it that way before, but I honestly now, even more than that part would be, I do believe that everybody should be registered on here with a credit card to prove they're over their adult age. And if they don't do that, they're fine. They're not allowed to creep. They can watch. They just can't comment. They can't flag. They can't do any of that stuff. They can watch. It'd almost be like watching in incognito mode. And that would get rid of a lot of the bullying that's on here, because otherwise, if they were doing it, there would be a link back to who was actually doing it. That would get rid of a lot of the mess accounts and stuff like that come on. That would fix most of it right there in that one shot. Yes, some will find a way to fake a credit card number. We all know there'll be a loop, but that would really minimize the amount that get to do that, So I care. I also burnt out, and COPPA has me frustrated. Crap, my dad makes me watch. Exactly. Talk about channels getting affected by stuff like that. There you go. There's another great example right there. It's just, I do in the end, because I think it would clean up a lot. It would make it a lot more enjoyable for everything on here. I know something like that. Never thought of it tonight, but yeah, that would clean up a lot of the problems. Could still watch and everything else, but who knows? These are just ideas tonight, guys, and talking, and it's been great hearing you guys as well. Whether you're for or against it, it's been amazing to see you guys. Unfair to people that do not have a credit card. Yeah, or maybe, they also do it on YouTube. If you don't give your credit card, you can also, like for underage, you can validate as a guardian through a license and stuff like that. They have a special process for that as well. They could maybe implement that too.
Those are all the details of how it would or wouldn't be. The main thing that we're talking about is about the meaning of that, the trust, the accountability from both sides that is not existing. The things that we're complaining about on YouTube already exist. And we're just trying to think of the things that might maybe change it for the better, because things that are already going wrong are already going wrong without us doing anything or being able to do anything.
Yes. It's already happened, guys. We are controlled like crazy. The problem is we're controlled and we don't have even an understanding about what stuff we're getting controlled over. Look at the stuff that's going on. Like I keep bringing up tonight, like the 40 pages you can't say on YouTube and stuff, and many more. I mean, how are you supposed to play with the rules with stuff like that? You can't. It's a toss-up when you throw a video out there. How many things can actually get it taken down? You're really just throwing it in the wind and hoping that it doesn't crash. If there's no accountability, I mean,
And Drone Kings and Darwin points a really good point with regards to the kids' content. Drone Kings Environment says, my kids get a YouTube account as they have a Gmail account. That may be a part of the issue that needs to be unraveled. Yeah, a Gmail account now is necessary as part of the schooling system as well. Here in Canada, the Google Classroom is used a lot in schools, so you do have to have a Gmail account even if you're under 13, which then comes with the apps of YouTube, which I do agree should by default have YouTube Kids on them if you are under 13 as a Google account, which it doesn't. It does come as a default as a YouTube original, which is kind of ridiculous. But as we talked about COPPA last week, 89% of kids from 8 to 16 are on YouTube platform and not YouTube Kids. I think they have missed the boat on that one, and when they started, I think, YouTube Kids in 2015, it just wasn't pushed enough, and I really think it's just way too late for that train to catch up on that. But that's about COPPA. We're not talking about exactly that right now. It is part of the problem, but not the only one.
See, guys, here this YouTube breaking news and tips. Here's a short example. Here's these videos, okay? These ones here, pretty much every one of them was limited monetization by the time we went live or within the first 20 minutes or so. Now, does that seem like something that should be kept away from advertisers? Does that seem fair to you? Not like we were showing any kind of like fist fighting, etc. All the things that go into it. Literally, basically every one of these ones that talks about YouTube. A lot of our Tech Talk Tuesdays can get it because we talked about the platform. The Wheel gets it sometimes. I mean, this is the stuff that just, and like tonight, we're talking about this. And once again, for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, here's another one. We went on future of YouTube. I want to pay to be on YouTube. So if you look at it from the corporate stance, they should say, wow, these people want to pay on YouTube. Let's promote the hell out of this. This will get us more money. If they're just saying, instead, what do we get even for that? We get limited monetization. This is how bizarre being on here is. That's how bizarre it is. That's how sad it is. Yeah, cooking green. Yeah.
Do you know why are they limited? Well, partially it is because we're talking about YouTube. Anything that contains YouTube subject, and it doesn't matter if it's in the title, they do catch it from the subject of the conversation as well. Alerts them right away that it might be something talking bad about YouTube, and they right away limit like self-protection, so to say. They limit it right away, so we kind of expect it most of the time.
Sean and limited monetization, don't get me started. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Lots of channels go through. There's a channel that puts a ton of work into what they do. What about channels that talk about mental health in a productive way at helping people deal with it, constructive? They get limited monetization or no monetization or get shadow banned from it. It doesn't matter how they're pertaining to the messages, just that word is in their mental health and it's automatically hit. There's so many words that just get it right off the get-go. What about somebody who talks about being bullied? They get it, you know? No, I still feel that once it's bound into it, they would know what area. Right now, they just do it because they just don't want to take a chance. Anything with YouTube, that's the point of this, is right now they see YouTube, oh, it could be controversial, so we're not going to touch it. Limited monetization, right away. No understanding of the context of that. But if we did audition for them, they get a context for what our channel's about, then they could vouch when we touch on subjects like that, what kind of a channel we are, that we don't do it in a disparaging manner, or the same for somebody that talks about health issues, or the same as Sean and Marianne when they do paranormal. All these things, there would be an understanding of the context, therefore they wouldn't have to go and let the algorithm take care of it. We'd have an automatic green coin, and then if the algorithm questioned anything, at best they would have to come over and check it before they went and turned it into an actual yellow, instead of doing it yellow first and then having somebody check it later, which mostly is, the algorithm does it right now. There would be an actual person, your rep, verifying that you are okay, that you are within the terms and bounds. And then where it would stay green, because if it had to stay green up until, and say we did touch a subject that wasn't supposed to be touched, at least it'd be green the whole way through, and people would be coming in, and we'd be getting the push that we're supposed to get. And then after that, if they deemed it, okay, no, this doesn't fit, then they could put it to yellow. At least then it was decided by a human being that this is not fitting what it does. instead of the opposite where they play it on the safe because the algorithm can't tell context and just hits you with it. Our camera is heating like crazy tonight since we moved it to this spot. This is great.
Now, nomadic bike, I do agree
Sorry,
that
guys.
that might create a free more. Like, in part, yes, there's always a chance of having a bigger free-for-all, but at the same time, like we mentioned before, there are plenty of platforms that are using this type of platform with paying creators uploading their content, like Spotify, like a podcast community that is huge now and growing and growing. You have to pay in order to post your podcasts, to host them all across the services. You have to pay. You do get paid back with advertising. So it does work the same way as we're talking now about YouTube. It does work. It has proven to work on other places on the internet, huge places, not just tiny websites. So although there's always a chance of it, there is proof in the pudding, so to say, that it does work. Teaching credentials. I agree. Free to laugh now. My whole platform is encouraging people from being set free from 30 years of depression. That's great. I do appreciate what you're doing.
Pixelpia, how do you follow rules that you don't know exist? Exactly. So they would have to be more informing us more who were part of that to make sure we stay in the rules so we don't upset that balance, because they don't want to upset the ones that are advertising with us. So that would force them more to show their hand and let us know where we stand. And Steph Opal's still eating burnt vegan pizza. Oh my God, Steph. That is your calling card. That is your calling card. One of many. You have many talents, but we'll always remember you, especially for the burnt vegan pizza. Actually, all the podcasts have seen the corporate takeover happening to them. That's why all of them are coming back here to help push their not necessarily. I wouldn't agree on that one.
There's always things that can be better, no matter where we are in life, and no matter what country we are. We always want it to be better, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's human nature.
We do. We have like Juliet Miranda, and that's in like one of the top percentile of podcasters. They're on here. I mean, the same thing. We've talked about them with that. And it's not that it's a Shangri-La anywhere you go. We're not saying that. We're just looking at options that maybe will make it easier to be on here, because it's certainly not working the way it is. That's what it comes down to. Either YouTube, what I see happening is there's going to be a few getting to the top, and the most of it in here, I'm going to tell you right now, I see it turning more and more into a dingy ghetto. That's exactly what I see YouTube turning into. And it's turning off more and more people from coming here. And the rules are, especially that they're putting out, are hitting more of the bigger ones that are actually doing the productive stuff, leaving more and more room for the ghetto. That's what I see happening on YouTube. If you want my honest opinion, that's what I see happening to it. It's become worse and worse. That's why it's becoming more and more infiltrated as a social media versus an actual creator platform. People talk about the golden days of YouTube and back when it used to be, because it wasn't a social media back then, any shape or form. It was creators. And now it's become more and more of that. It's just a place to hang and not for creators. So if you want my honest opinion on all of it, that's what all of it up to now has got us into one great big dingy ghetto with some sprinkling to the top in that. And it's becoming more and more as people don't see any use of getting anywhere on here, of getting their hard work seen, and they're just kind of letting go and then treating it like, instead of Facebook where you'd have to type for 20 minutes to put up a paragraph complaining, now it can just be 4 hours of just wasting time. YouTube is never meant to be a social media platform. We're meant to be creators on here. There was a difference between it. A higher level, that's the whole problem, and it has blended in here seamlessly in some places, and that's the sad part of it, and that's what's brought more of the problems and why more people are not getting noticed. And that's why you get more and more of channels who don't give a shit, just turning on the camera and letting loose, because there's not the want to do anything on here, but more just a place, literally just a hang. It's like a Google Hangout that should have been kept to the side is now a free-for-all. I do believe that, and I don't see it as a social media. It's supposed to have way more than that.
We have Nick and Mandy right here.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much to Nick and Mandy. Thank you. Brian Bush family is joining us.
Welcome.
Here. Hello. Chris Russell coming from Nick and Mandy Welsh Raid as well. Mary Sanderson.
Welcome.
Hello and welcome here to our channel. We're talking about YouTube tonight. Welcome here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you in. Thank you so much for the raid. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I caught us on an interesting topic tonight. Great to see you, though. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. That was so kind for the raid. Thank you so very much for that. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Had a wonderful time tonight. Tonight batteries are running low, spending love with my fellow creators, and hope for the future is brighter than ever, and we all grow together. Mary Boozer, you always are such a pleasure. Thank you so very much. You have a great night. Somebody said, I think it was dropped that said I got nasty comments back in 2004. I agree. No. Once again, nothing was ever a Shangri-La. I agree with you on that whole. I just mean the way it's become now. It's basically, anybody's been on social media for a while, you know how tired we get onto it when it's just like back and forth, like fighting for 2 hours. Like, they're typing like 95 posts. You're hitting the mute button because you don't even want to see what they're writing anymore. But that's what YouTube is becoming now, like that. It's not like a nasty comment. Yeah, there's a nasty comment. You got to have some thick skin if you're going to be on here. You can't let all of them always just dictate how you get along, your days on YouTube. It's the back and forth, and it's the constantness, and channels built around just that alone. I mean, has grown gigantic margins of it. Jimmy Lou late to the game tonight, but good to see you guys. Jimmy Lou and Annie too. Always a pleasure to have you guys. Always a pleasure to have you. Isn't YouTube really just for whatever audience it can get? It was never made just for creators, but for eyes to count for advertising. I get what you're saying, but take you. I mean, you're one that puts a lot of work into what you do, old guy in a bike. It's got nothing to do with, I don't want to make it, like I said a while ago, it's not like everybody has to become like they're making a pilot for NBC. It's just people who are putting a lot of work into their, into what they do. And you do. And I mean, you should have the right to be seen by a proper amount of people. You should be able to focus onto it. You should know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do in here, so you can choose whether you want to be in those bounds or not. And create. I figure, that it just gives you that much more creativity onto it. It's got nothing to do with wanting to be gigantic. It's got to do with what you're already doing on here. You are part of it, as much a part of it as any 10 million subscriber channel, 90 million subscriber, etc., etc. We're all here making content that people want to watch. That's what we're here for. And hopefully we find the audience that like what we do and get some of the breaks that might come along the way, and all those things together. And you should have your time more dedicated to that than any of the other obstructions that happen on here. You should have clear set out terms of boundaries, what you can do, or in levels as you go. Okay, if I do this, it's going to put me in this tier. I won't get as much advertised, but I don't care. I don't care about that part. I want this out. And then you at least know I can go and do that without any hesitations, without any surprises. You know where you stand. I did it. I'm happy that I did it. There, That's all it is. It's finding ways to do it, and we don't get that on here. We fall into traps all the time. A lot of us do. And it just kills the will of a lot of creators to keep going, and that's the saddest part of all. That's the part that I hate to see the most. It really does take the wind out of their sails, and that's really sad. Really, really sad. Pilot Ryan Media worried about RC, definitely. A lot of them.
Hobby channels. There's a lot of gray area that is going to be a questionable moment, and we only are going to be able to see it once January comes and there are actual rule implementations and penalties, because YouTube, I don't think, knows exactly what FTC is going to be doing either. Once again, it's not YouTube's policy, it's FTC that is implementing this one. So yeah,
anybody who's worried about it, and says, well, I'm just a hobbyist and I don't want to pay to be on YouTube and all this stuff and that, just think for 1 second. Now, you just said you're a hobbyist, but YouTube's last advice in all this was, we can't tell you each video is good for your channel or not. If you're not sure, consult your lawyer. If that doesn't say every alarm bell needed that we need some protection on here, nothing will. So think of it. You're a 500 subscriber channel. You just do it for the fun of it. You're just playing around on YouTube. You have no one wants to monetize, all that stuff. And now you're faced with, you could still get hit with a fine up to $42,000 US. the advice YouTube has given you now, it's come to the point where they got to tell you something's going on. If you're not sure, seek advice from legal counsel. If that doesn't scare the bejesus out of you, nothing will. And if that doesn't set more in stone that it's not the la days of YouTube past, and that we're not protected any sort, and you could be doing this to make $5 in 3 months that you don't even get because you need minimum 100, but yet you could be hit with a fine up to $42,000. Yeah, you can hit them with a countersuit. Yeah, and you are right, you can. But I mean, where's it going to go? You know, and this, what the biggest point out of all that is how many YouTubers that will sicken and just say, you know what, I'm done. And that's what's been happening. I'm gone. I don't need this kind of worry in my life.
There are so many videos out there. If you just search quit YouTube, you're going to see how many people are quitting YouTube.
Yep.
And lots of it is because of misinformation, unfortunately, as well. People don't, they'd rather close the channel than actually read the rules themselves, which is very sad. But lots of it is because of the changes as well. So it is upsetting.
A couple months ago, guys, we were already in a panic because, you know, you could lose your channel from this or that, or you could get shadow banned for this or that. Now we're talking lawyers. It's gotten to the point where we're talking lawyers for our channel. How insane is that? This is what I mean. Do we need to join the membership host? No. We're just talking tonight in general. Good luck, USA. Fine, trying to collect it from people in other countries.
It's possible, though.
This is where then you get third-party lawyers that take up a class action suit against a bunch of users in another country on behalf of YouTube because they can stick their paws into it and make money.
Yeah, they'll just be shutting it down probably eventually. Obviously, it is going to be harder than directly being in US, but it still applies. It still applies to everybody as long as you have any amount of audience in US. So
that's why I decided to finally make a show about this after talking about a year and a half, is that conversation. And yes, I was listening very hard when I heard them say consult your lawyers. That stuck with me. Now remember, YouTube does this. YouTube is not good at giving out information. So when they get to the point that they say, if you're not sure, consult a lawyer, take it seriously. Really take it seriously. It's not a joke, because especially if you're a channel that doesn't care and you're just out having some fun, not knocking for doing it. Imagine how much there is at stake then, you know. I just said my channel is for adults only. So you set all the settings in that. So I mean, and that's fine, but it's a problem with the channels that are all in like a bit of the gray area, not very deep into it, and still it's like the abyss, you know, not knowing where the line is.
Now there is lots of misconceptions what to do and what not to do, and I want to clarify that because I had like 5 questions already in the chat about that. The Cross Chick, hello.
Hey, how are you? Great to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic.
Our birthday is coming up. Oh my god, I so wish that we could go over. Oh my god. So I just want to clarify, and it is about COPPA, but I have to say something because at least 5 people have asked it. Don't mark your channel or your videos as 18 plus unless you have 18 plus content. Yeah. Just because you're saying not made for kids doesn't mean that you have to mark it as mature only. That's not equality sign there. So there's 2 separate things. One is it made or not made for kids? And the other one, does it have mature content or not? It's not the same thing. Channels not made for kids are not mature content unless you have violence, nudity, drugs, things like that. So please, I have a couple people here in the chat that had already marked it as only mature, which is wrong. You will lose all monetization whatsoever. There is not gonna even be limited ads if you do that. So please don't do that. If you're not sure, ask a question. Make sure that you read the guidelines. It is not the same thing. I don't know why they ever put that in the same square. Like, it's so confusing for people.
The amazing drop, you swear once in a while. I mean, and that's no problem. YouTube's answer onto it is that you don't put it in the title, you don't put in the description, the tags, etc., any of that. You don't swear in the first 30 seconds roughly of your video. And this is my interpretation of it. Keep it around HBO level, you're fine. If you're cursing a blue streak, that's a different thing. But you are allowed to. It's not if you say that, and you can drop the F-bomb. You can. And it's not going to sink your channel. It's more about there's a large quantity of it coming out many times per minute. The algorithm works always on numbers like that. It's always going to be on numbers, groupings of numbers. And it's going to stay per capita, how long it's been on, how much has been going on, that these words have been being used, and that will usually tip the scale. Are you PG-13, Nomad Unbroken Ass?
Most of the time.
Yep.
And we do have live streams that we have limited for mature audience only, like the one that we had celebration for 10K, because we were using alcohol and, we weren't sure what is going to be happening in the stream, so we did mark it as mature only. But other than that, it is not made for kids, but it's also not for mature audience only. So I just wanted to say that because it's so upsetting to see that people do misunderstand the rules. And unfortunately, YouTube has become like a thing that you do need a lawyer or at least somebody that tells you exactly what it means. Because how does a person on average who come here to share their hobbies know all the ins and outs of what to do? We only know it because that's our job. We do it here. We read it so you don't have to, kind of thing. We educate ourselves. So you don't have to read all of the stuff. But for the average user, how are you supposed to know all of these ins and outs? It's so confusing. And they're not making it easier, especially with the latest thing that pops up there with both at the same time.
Like I say, for them to mention lawyers and that should get your ears perked up. That should really get your ears perked up. For them to come out directly and say that should give you an idea. Because they're notorious for not updating people. We've done more updates on stuff they've made changes to, big updates that they've done nothing more than a soft release with a gently dropped message board comment from a YouTube employee. So, and the amazing drop says I never use the F-bomb. You see, exactly. So I wouldn't mark everything as 18 and over. You're just cutting down people seeing you for no reason. You shouldn't have to. Damon Warren, how are you? Great to see you, my friend. Hope all is fantastic. Great to see you, as always. Saying bad words, but their comments is okay, so really it's not fair. I was wondering, some people saying bad words, but their comments is okay.
The comment section is only disabled for kids friendly, for made for kids content channels.
Oh, Steph, hopefully you're such a sweetheart. So don't. I always use F, but never F bombs. but never bombs. Oh my god.
I have no idea how to label my channel or videos with this change. If you haven't watched our video about COPPA, please do. There is tons of information. We do answer the questions. We describe in detail what exactly you have to do and where. And if you're still not sure, there's tons of resources in the description of that video. So if you haven't, please do. I know it lots of time seems to, but if you're really not sure, it's definitely is a great resource to understanding what to do on your channel. And we're definitely gonna go talk back about COPPA sometime again down the road.
Yep.
It's definitely not the end of it by any means for anybody. This today was kind of the outpour of what have come out here up and had to just come out. Like I said, it wasn't anything YouTube official. It was our thoughts on it that just had to be voiced out.
Drunk Kings and Darwin, Andrew's F-bombs 1-1 ratio with super sticker salt. Oh my God almighty. So I appreciate you guys listening to me blow off some steam about it, guys. And I really appreciate seeing all you guys' comments and the discussions tonight and that between you all. Absolutely fantastic. It's the more we talk about it, guys, the more we just get aware of what's going on. And then at the end, whether something changed or not, at least we get a little bit of a better understanding of what we have to deal with on here. Kids content will get comments disabled. I put up a video of my kids and I get in the park quarantine. So, yep.
Well, not only comments, there's also no notifications, etc., etc. Once again, we did cover that all in detail, and we will get back to that. So if you haven't watched that, please do. I'll drop the link in the chat again.
That's truly amazing, Drop. I guess the FTC would be an F-bomb. Yep, true enough. I thank you guys for the great information. You guys are great. You guys are awesome, folks. It's been such great conversation tonight. Yep, the YouTube world is pretty choppy right now. Pusa is mass takedowns for channels, copyright laws changing, and restrictions of content. Pretty scary and disheartening. I guess. Yeah, it definitely is. Besides toy channels, etc., any other niches that may fizzle out?
Gaming, hobby channels, drawing, educational, animation, comic books, lots.
Pilot Ryan Media. My audience demographic analytics show I'm safe. Even the manuals of the products we review are 14 and up. Still nervous, but okay. Here's this is what I kind of came up with the other day. Here's an example. Say you're a chicken farmer, and you're up on the farm that you're doing a video, and you're talking about the farming process. And we had 240,000 eggs last year. We're hoping to yield 300,000 this year. We added a new barn. Blah 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 blah. It's not for kids. It's not geared towards kids in any shape of the word. Now, if you're sitting there holding that chicken and saying, well, this is where Mr. Chicken lives, and Mr. Chicken here is on the farm, and Mr. Chicken is blah, 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 blah. I should say Mrs. Chicken, actually, not Mr. otherwise Mr. Rooster. But henceforth, all of a sudden you're diving into the kids' territory, and it's marked for it. It should be appropriately. Now, say you go back to when you're talking about the production of that farm, like I brought up the first example, but this time, instead of you just talking, your kids are with you the whole time in the video. Or out of a 10-minute video, they're there for 3 minutes with you, or 2 minutes, but they're predominantly in the video. Well, kids are attracted to the kids. They're more likely to watch, therefore you should mark it. If go back to that first scenario again, but instead, halfway through it, your kids walk by and say, hey, Dad, on their way through to the farm, it's not geared towards kids. So you have to be very careful about, you have to really look at it, because it's where people are going to get hit a lot is the gray area, the stuff that they took for granted, thinking, I was talking to adults, it's all fine. I'm not saying they aren't. And like Pilot Ryan Media, who's even been a guest on here, we're well aware what they do. These RC planes, I mean, there are some kids into it, but primarily this is an adult hobby. And it's geared towards adults as such. Just have to make sure, or if you're at fairs where there's a lot of kids, it's got more of a kind of a festival element to it with a lot of children present, or stuff into it that would really then be geared more to children than usual, even if it's like a flying an air show or stuff like that. Just make sure to check over those videos and make sure that they don't. It's once either kids become a predominant part of the video, or the talk or the scenery around becomes possible for a big draw for children to come and watch. And of course, this always definitely falls into, as well as your thumbnail, your title, etc. So just really make sure that you are safe. Think of any videos you think that you might not quite be sure of, that maybe give you a bit. Just think about them. Go through your catalog, start looking at them and see if there's any that cross your mind. Yes, YouTube will be marking some of them automatically if it thinks it's that way. Most likely a lot will get marked that shouldn't get marked. But to keep yourself in the less amount of trouble, you want to have them as good to go as possible on your own terms. So make sure to really take time and go through them, guys. Really take time and go through. So,
and I think this is a great LNG Assassin was saying, I will not let this stop me from wanting to do what I want. I want to bring happiness to people through gaming. And I think at the end of it, I hope that it doesn't discourage you and you are losing our screen once again. I hope it doesn't discourage you.
Wow, tonight. I guess we're going to get a fan on this.
There is always changes coming up, and we just hope that we can motivate you in thinking about it, but still keeping creating and be aware of what is going on. Bringing awareness of what is going on and information that is available there is what is important. Keep on creating.
And sorry, guys, we moved locations. We've been working on all this, and we're figuring out the bugs that go with it and all that. So we appreciate you guys' patience. Once again, if you didn't join us earlier, there you go, guys. This is our new setup we've been working on too. We put it together last night. It's a modification from a stand made to hold 4 monitors. So we have the lighting up here, across the bars, there's the other light, then down to the monitor. There you go. And so, and another arm, we took the knuckle off of it and set that up for the camera. And then as well as the other arm down below is going to Xenia's mic stand. There's our boom arm, as you can see there. So we still have a lot of growing pains going on here, guys, with this one. So we appreciate your patience. And we're definitely going to have to get a cooler on that camera, that's for sure. So there you go, guys.
Andrew's so hot he killed the camera or his wife. No, I'm still here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it was actually a mono from a channel that was talking about building everything and used the idea of a monitor stand. And it's like the light went off. And it was like, yeah, this makes sense. This makes perfect sense. Did I see somebody saying hi to BNO in the house? BNO! Oh my God, it's been forever. How are you, buddy? Fantastic to see you. Hope you're doing great. Always a pleasure to see you. Always. Space Control Central, Philip says. You're awesome, Philip. You're always awesome. Philip's another channel that got us off the ground, guys, like Steph Hopel. Big shout out to those guys. Make sure to check them both out. Officially, Chris up. Hey, Chris, what is going on? What is going on? Hope you're doing fantastic. It's so great to see you in here, my friend. Absolutely a pleasure. Haunted Travels is another channel that's been with us since the early beginnings, guys, as well. Fantastic couple, Sean and Miriam. Definitely check them out as well. Cowgirl ASMR, howdy, howdy, howdy. And Raven's Vlog, how are you? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Guys, we're just about to end it here. But if you guys want to go back and check it out, I think it was a fantastic discussion. Make sure to watch it after it's rendered so you can see all the conversation that was going on. You guys were absolutely awesome tonight. Such great people. Really enjoyed it. And it's just nice to see people take, whether you're for or against what we were talking about, it has nothing to do with it. It's just that you care about being on here and that's really nice to see. It really is nice to see. So hats off to you for that. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, guys. Tech Talk Tuesday. All those questions you got about YouTube and that, make sure to bring them along with you. We'll do our best to answer them, plus everybody else is helping out in the chat. So it's just a great place to learn, guys, whether you've been into it just starting or been into it for years. It's always great discussions, always great things you can learn about a channel. The Weird Desk US, thank you so much. And once again, you're another one that you had your different opinion, but you were very respectful about it, and great conversation. Thank you so very much for that. Philip, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. You take care. The Amazing Drop, you be well. Seven Wonders. All of you folks, we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join us, guys. It'll be a lot of fun. A lot of great things to learn. Be well. See you soon.